Alrighty, welcome back to Pax Mithdosica. Um, we are picking up with Corvus where we left him, which is in the city of Nasius, a little bit after the arrival of Talia. So it's October 31st in Nasius, and a strange winter has taken hold. You've been on the plains before, but the autumn and winter here remains an enigma to you. It rarely snows, but the temperatures drop and evil winds press across the plains. Here in Nasius, the entire city smells of sea spray and rotting fish, and the sound of gulls is a constant. You and your other judges have a month to pursue your own ends. So, for the first week of the rest, what would you like to
Um, for the first week, I think, if I recall correctly, I'm fairly exhausted. I'm somewhat on my limits. I'm not at full HP, and I'm out of all of my hit dice.
do? Yeah, you
I'm
got a couple
missing
days
most of my
rest,
spell slots.
but you didn't get a long rest.
Yeah, I'm missing most of my spell slots, and we honestly went through quite a lot. So I think I'll be relaxing. I definitely will be visiting something like a bathhouse or something like that.
Yeah,
Probably something a bit more private, just to get cleaned up. Maybe a barbershop to get professionally groomed, tailored to get my clothes fixed, all of that.
yeah, I think you spend, like 5 Electrum and a couple of days just unwinding from your experience on the plains. There are bathhouses where you can pay people to wash you. You can get your beard groomed and oiled for the first time in, well, quite a while since the hunt for the Green Rider initially began.
Yeah.
And you can get all the little pieces of your kit that were damaged through travel repaired. Your robe is nice and vibrantly red by the time you're done, reflecting your role as a battle wizard. Is there anything else you'd
Very
like to do?
nice. Um, I'm thinking. Uh, Nothing up the top of my head. Um,
You could begin the spells process now.
um, I would. However, I'll let you know right away that on Corvus's personal funds, he's very limited right now.
Luckily for you, that's all right because many grants exist by the Mythdosian state to help encourage the creation of spells. So,
I do have two things I could sell, or I was intending to sell anyway,
sure.
namely a crystal harp and a crystal flute,
Yeah, I could go look what those prices are.
and get the process of those selling because it doesn't happen instantly, of course.
Correct. Yeah, I think
Going.
previously you were going to put them on auction, but then you had the Green Rider incident, so you didn't have time to actually sell them.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can
I believe
contact an
that's true.
auction house here in Nasius and run through the Department of Coin. They suspect that within about 2 or 3 weeks they should have your object sold.
Okay.
Okay. And now we can talk about the process of spell creation. So, um, in Valoros, the creation of novel and unique spells is basically impossible. There is not a wizard in the last millennium and a half who's actually made a spell that's completely of their own mind. That's because no one speaks the arcane tongue, which is where all magic is derived. It's also known as like the power language, because like power word kill is just the word kill in the arcane tongue. So no one speaks that. So all they're really doing is they're taking fragments of it from other written pages, and then they're basically copying out those fragments, not really understanding what they are. So it's more of a guess and check system of, oh, this word seems to do this, rather than any actual like contextual understanding of the language. Um, the reasoning for why that language was lost is unclear, but these are the guardrails that magical creation works within. So first you have to figure out, so you're making some new spell. Do you know what spells you'll be basing yours on?
Yes.
Alrighty.
I know
Um,
part of it will be based on Melf's Mana of Meteors, or Lucretia's Mana of Meteors in this case,
mhm.
and part of it is definitely based on Fireball.
Alrighty. You can go to. So you have actually squared all your debts with the Department of Magic. So you're on relatively okay terms with them, and I believe you have a clerk working at the Department of Magic among your friends in the Republic. And so you can meet with that clerk, and she will give you access to the scroll repository in Nauseous. This doesn't actually have every spell, but the two that you're looking for, Lucretia's Minute Meteors and Fireball, are incredibly common. So they have copies of both of those scrolls. So that's the first requirement for spell creation. Second requirement is to have a fully equipped arcane laboratory. For each spell level you wish to create, it costs 10,000 to equip your laboratory. So if you wanted a maxed out laboratory with every possible like ingredient you could ever want, that would be 90,000 gold to get up to 9th level. Luckily for you, the Department of Magic has those, and they are free to use by anyone who is a registered mage in the Empire, because again, they want to encourage people to do this thing. One of the benefits of an immensely bureaucratic state is that, you can get this. You will have to file for a grant with the Department of Magic, but we can talk about that once we're further along in the process. Next, you need to be able to access the spell slot of the level of spell you're trying to create, which I assume is not a problem here, right?
So as soon as I spend that 1 week of long rest, it's no longer a problem, yes.
Okay, perfect. And then the final thing is the actual cost in components. So that's going to be 100 gold per spell level, representing arcane ink, failed attempts, incorrect material components, stuff like that. Normally, this is just a wizard has to pay this, but once again, the Department of Magic will pay for these as long as you apply for a grant through them. Obviously, whatever you produce will also be the property of the Department of Magic, but you'll have access to it, so it's not the end of the world. So yeah, those are the basic preparations to get started on spell creation. What would you like to try to get done during your first week?
Well, I'll file for the grant. I'll start researching, I guess, the parts of the spell that are like the components of it.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty confident on the whole fireball thing.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely have to research what's its face? Minute Meteors.
Okay. So applying for a grant of any type in the Empire is something a little bit beyond you. Actually, no, wait. Don't you have legal education?
I do.
Okay, never mind. You can do this on your own. You know how, with a barrister's education, you will know how to navigate the labyrinthine bureaucracy of the Empire. So you go to the proper book to find the proper forms to fill out. Then you submit them to the Department of Magic during a very limited window in which that desk is open. And within only 3 days, which is a testament to the speedy bureaucracy of the Empire, you will find yourself sitting in a room across from the new Archmage in Nauseous. The previous one, Essentia, was sent to the front lines, rather famously. The Edict of Patricia explicitly ordered her to go to the front lines, so one of her apprentices must have been promoted in her stead. He is a very old man, probably in his late 50s. He has green robes indicating his specialization of abjuration, and as you enter his office, you can see your applications for your spell on his desk. And he'll say, "Welcome, Lord Judge. I'd like to discuss this proposal that you've submitted."
Of course.
Now, you're asking for an investment of 700 gold pieces during the creation process, and then obviously access to the laboratory for the creation of an evocation spell. What use case do you see for this magic that is not already taken up by another spell the Empire has access to?
I believe the spell with what makes the spell separate from other spells is its incredible range on the battlefield. Yes. I believe preemptive strikes on enemy combat groups or even their camps or equipment with fire could be incredibly effective, of course.
600 feet is a lofty goal.
Yes.
Is it your first time creating a spell? I
yes.
looked through the record. I see. I just wanted to make sure we had no losses. Well, I will refer this to the Department of Magic office in Mythos. I will. I'm just so you know, I'm sort of the gatekeeper, but this seems a reasonable enough request. If it's your first time, I will warn you. This may take a bit longer than you think. I've only made one spell, and it took me the better part of a year.
Do tell. I'm curious.
Well, after you've finished this, once this grant is approved, you'll have access to the laboratory. At that point, you'll want to undergo an initial phase of research. This is just getting yourself acquainted with the library, knowing where all the relevant scrolls are. Then you also want to get text on the specific arcane field you're working in. That took me a couple of weeks, but I was making something relatively simple. What you're doing here, this will probably take the better part of a couple of months. You'll need to collect all evocation spells, anything related to fire. That's a vast corpus of knowledge, as I'm sure you know, and any texts published by war wizards. But once you have your preparation and your initial research done, then comes the actual work of making the spell. For me, I spent weeks guessing and checking and attempting spells, spent hundreds of gold. It was just sort of a stroke of luck, I suppose, that mine got finished when it did. It could have gone on for weeks longer. I've been told it gets easier, though. I simply haven't had an idea of what to do next.
Okay. Any legal processes I should be aware of that in relation to this that
Yes,
aren't
once the
obvious?
grant has been given to you, the Department of Magic reserves the right to check in on it at any time on progress. I know you are a judge, so if you find yourself delayed by your work, you may want to file an extension request to your grant because the money siphon will close if the spell is not delivered within the time allotted. Beyond that, once the spell is completed, it will become primary property of the Department of Magic. Any copyings or sharing of the spell will have to be approved by the Department of Magic. You'll, of course, be given your own copy, but we will be the ultimate rights holders.
Yeah, I have no further questions.
Wonderful. Well, then I will make sure to get this sent to their main office, and I'll see you in probably a week or two. We already have your residence on file, so as long as you're in the city, I'll let you know.
Yes.
Okay, so your first week passes largely calmly. Very little takes place, lots of relaxation, submitting of paperwork. You spend long periods of time reading within the villa. At a certain point, Zednius leaves the estate without much of an announcement. And then, after a week, you receive a letter. You've sent a letter to your uncle already to inform him that, that was not a ghost and you're alive and all those things. And he hadn't sent a follow-up, but near the end of the week, the response comes. It reads, "Dear nephew, hopefully this letter finds you, as I was entirely uncertain of what residence you were staying at in Nausius. I wanted to update you with the happenings of home. Your aunt is feeling alright despite that scare that we had last week in the dead of night. She has been asking for you to visit, wants to make sure her favorite nephew is doing alright with his fancy new job in the Department of Civility. However, your cousin Cassius is incredibly quiet. I myself am doing alright. I've received an interesting business offer from a friend in the Department of War that would involve moving the family to Marsonia or Kujva, but I haven't yet decided if I want to uproot all that I've built here in Salernum. I encourage you to come home as soon as you are able. We miss you. With love, Gallius."
Okay. Does there seem to be anything within that? Let me check it, I guess, in a word.
Yeah.
My cousin Cassius. What do I know of Cassius?
Yeah. Gallius has 2 children. Neither of them are named Cassius, but I believe you have one Cassius listed on your sheet.
Of course. Do I have any means of reaching out to him?
Yeah, Cassius, meaning Bogby, is not exactly easy
Yes.
for you to reach. I don't think you have like sending or anything, right?
I do not.
Yeah, all communication passes through your uncle. He's the of your little cell of Sons of the Republic. He's the only person who knows about the wider organization. It's all quite intentional. And you're not even sure how much he really knows because the organization is designed in such a way that if the Frumentauri catches one little group, the wider body of the rebellion can survive.
I guess I'll be since I don't really have that direct of a way of reaching out to him, I think I'll just do I know any places he frequents?
Oh, I mean, you know where Bogby lives. You could send him a letter. He's a very public figure. He's the Aedile of Tarako, meaning he hosts like all parties and festivals and stuff. So in that respect, if you want to send him a letter, you can. But yeah, normally the standard procedure would be to go through your uncle.
Okay, so he's. I guess this whole spell development thing. Do I have to stay in town right now, or could I visit my uncle?
Yeah, I mean nothing happens until your grant gets approved, which he said would be in a couple of weeks. So
yeah, so I think he encourages me to come home, so I think I will be doing just that.
Yeah, you mount on horseback. It'll be a day's travel to Salernum. Technically, there is a boat route, but it would be a lot longer. So you will leave the city of Nausius behind. You did get a long rest though, so make sure to adjust all your things accordingly so you get back.
Yes, I'm currently working on it because I realized that I knew I was leveling up to 13. I didn't realize that I was level 11, so I was leveling up to 12 at the same time.
Yeah, you gained a lot of XP, and a whole arc's worth of XP, actually.
Yeah, because I was just about to hit 12 before we left, and now I'm just about 13.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Maximus. He leveled up after one of the Fae things, but he literally didn't get a long rest until the entire arc was already over, so he never, got to use any of his stuff. But yeah, you take the ride down to Salernum. Cispontar Salaria is not where you were born, but it is kind of where you've grown up. Most people from the interior of the Empire will consider it a part of the Plains, but it doesn't really feel that way. This is about as core Mythosian territory as you can get. Anything west of the Pontar River really feels, Mythosian to you. And after you rattle across that bridge and head into the city of Salernum itself, this is a proper Mythosian town. Nausius, because it was originally Plains, has a lot of leftovers of its former affiliation about a century and a half ago. But Salernum is about the most Mythosian city you could ever be in. It has a square design. There's a large central forum. There is the governor's palace on a hill overlooking the city, which is heavily reinforced. The whole city was probably picked out just to put that governor's palace in such an advantageous position. Mythosian cities, especially the planned cities, are basically one step away from a fort. They're meant to be defensible. And you make your way through the wider streets of the merchant district. While your uncle is not a merchant, he is wealthy enough that he can afford a nice house. Luckily for you, it's the afternoon by the time you arrive on the 8th, and as you arrive at your uncle's estate, it is busy with activity. The front door is closed, but through the window you can see your aunt and the 2 cousins at the dinner table. You can see your uncle is speaking with one of his servants, like off to the side of the building. The house is abuzz with activity.
Um, I guess I'll just mix myself under the people. Do
Sure.
the
Yeah.
expected small talk, uh, social. I'll just uphold social norms
Yeah.
and
You
and slowly make my way towards my uncle.
Yeah, you dismount from your horse, you poke inside, you greet your aunt, one of your cousins, who's actually named after you. His name is Corvus Gallius. He'll tell you about a project that he completed for school. They're basically tutors. There is no like public school in Mythdosia, so his tutor requested that he do a catalog of all battles of Mythdosia, which is a lot, all major battles, anyways. And he's completed it, and he shows you a little paper chart of the 30 great battles of Mythdosia and who fought on both sides and the outcome of the battle. And you did very similar things in your youth. It's expected of most senators to have a knowledge of the wars of Mythdosia. And as he's showing you his project, the front door opens and your uncle steps inside. He doesn't want to interrupt his son's presentation, so he just kind of walks next to you and pats you on the shoulder. And as his son wraps up, Gallius will say, "Well, Helen, I'm going to catch up with Corvus. I'm sure he's had a long day on the road. But make sure to keep some of a bowl on the table for me later. I assume you're hungry as well, Corvus."
Indeed, I did spend most of my day on the road.
Well, just pour it back into the pot. Keep the flame low. We'll pour it out ourselves. The Helen, alongside a servant, will begin the process of that. Your uncle's in this awkward level of wealth, because if you're a true senator, like truly wealthy, you would just have servants do everything. Your wife would not be any sort of house, like domestic person. They would be basically pursuing the social ends of your political rise. Your uncle is a quaestor. He's barely a senator. He's like the lowest rank of a senator that you can actually still be a senator. So he can't afford to have slaves realistically. But servants do work for him. Like Zednius is a good example of somebody who's way beyond that. Zednius would never do any of this shit. He has hundreds of slaves in his employ. But yeah, you head down to the basement with your uncle, and you'll need to remind me. I know for a fact you stashed something with him, and he put it in his lead vault in the base of the house.
Odysseus.
Oh, Odysseus. Okay. Well, yeah. So your uncle will bring you downstairs, and before any words are shared, he will open up a lead vault that is built into the wall, and inside is the Vorpal sword, as you left.
I'll look at it. I'll say, I assume you haven't really. I assume you just left it here, or have you had
Yes.
anyone look over it?
No, it's just been resting here. It's not why I called you either, but you stashed it here, so if you wanted to recover it, you can.
Well, I personally have no need for it, and if it turned up with me, people would wonder why.
Okay. It'll remain here then. Do you want me to look into... Well, we can't sell it. I assume it's... You said it was magical when you gave it to me. Is it
Yes.
low profile enough that we could sell it, do you think?
It's a difficult topic. It's not previously owned by any member of the Empire, but the judges within my party are aware of it. If we forged some papers about its name and whatever, then
I could have it sent to Hagel. It would take a while to sell, but in the Delian League, they don't ask too many questions about ownership.
I think that would probably be the wisest choice.
All right.
Good. get rid of it on the lowest profile way.
Then
I wouldn't want any ties revealed.
he'll close up the lead vault and say, "Do you have any way to check if we're being scryed upon?"
The scrying sensor is invisible. I know
is.
that. Do I have the invisibility? Of course I do not. Idiot. Could you detect magic as scrying sensor?
Yep. Definitely could.
Okay, I'll be detecting magic then. Say, okay. I'll say of course.
You cast
And
detect
then
magic,
I'll
and look at
cast
what
detect
happens then.
magic.
There is not a single magical signature down here other than yourself, which is what you'd expect. The sword should not pick up through the lead vault, which is a good sign that it's working properly. Nor do you see any floating eyeballs.
Say, as far as I am aware, I believe we're not being spied upon, scryed upon at least. The Harkon would detect magic, reveal somebody who has the invisibility spell cast on them.
Most certainly, yeah.
Okay. So say, as far as I'm aware, we're alone and not being watched.
He will nod, and down here is a wine cellar. It's not very full. This was like an aspirational purchase, not a real one. So he'll sit down on one of the empty wine crates in here, and he'll say, "Well, as I'm sure you saw in the letter, Bogdy's gone missing. It's not just him either. There are two other contacts. You worked with them on the Dolno heist, Axe and Tongue. The two of them haven't responded. Now, I think there's a good chance Axe and Tongue just took the money because they got their payout for the heist recently. They may have just left Mithdosica entirely. They were never very ideologically committed, just mercenaries. But Bogdy, I can't see any reason why I'd give up on the cause, and you're the only person I have that I can actually send to Tarako to see if he's just ignoring me or still alive. So, that's what I'd like you to do."
Yeah.
I also haven't been getting intelligence updates from him for about 2 or 3 weeks. That's not entirely unusual. Sometimes he doesn't have anything for months apart, but the fact that it's paired with this disappearance.
Are you aware of somebody named Tullius?
Bogdy made a report on him. He said that he's one of the co-leaders of the Frumentari, Zednius' father. All I know is what Bogdy knows, though.
He recently made a visit to us under the guise of visiting Zednius as his father. And he seemed... I didn't talk much to the man, and he's very difficult to read. He's a masterful spy after all. He seemed like he was in a decent mood. And Zednius was trying to get me drunk afterwards. I think they might be making some moves. I don't have anything in particular, but I've been suspecting that Zednius has been, especially since the heist in Dolno, has been spying on me. But I think he might know a bit more than he should.
It would track. Axe, Tongue, and Bogdy all went on the Dolno job. Shit. That could mean that Axe and Tongue were targets as well. I thought they'd just run off.
Possible. They didn't know much, did they?
No, they knew nothing. The only thing they know is a fake name I gave them and where they got their money from. Bogdy's the one to worry about if they have their hands on him.
What about the girl, Klutz?
She knew less than nothing. There was a courier gave her money from a false address and a false name.
Is she missing too?
I don't know. She was a mercenary. I haven't followed up on her since then. Axe and Tongue are slightly more ideologically committed. Not as much as Bogdy, of course, but they're more than just mercenaries.
See, I'm just curious because if she was missing too, then there's a chance it might just be retaliation. Somebody in Dolno found out.
Well, I believe Zednius is the one who orchestrated her hiring onto the job, so I'm sure you could just go back to Nauseus and look for a local mercenary.
I guess I could. Though I feel like she'd avoid us after how all of that went down.
I would suspect so, and at the moment, since you're here in Salernum, you're about equidistant between where Bogdy was last seen, where Axe and Tongue were last seen, and Nauseus as well. They're all about a day and a half ride.
I can investigate. I don't think anybody would dare attack me. And if they did, then...
To be entirely honest, I'm relieved that you're here. When Bogdy went off the radar, and after you appeared and disappeared, I was worried that, well, like you said, maybe they'd gone after everyone involved in the Dolno job, including you.
Be more careful in the future. But what I say when Zednius is even remotely present?
He doesn't know about me, right? I mean, not even the Fruman, the Sons of the Republic things. I mean, does he know I'm even from?
I don't think so.
Now, of course, it is in Imperial records.
Which Tullius would have access to as the head of Military, or one of the leaders of.
Certainly he would. So at the moment, our working assumption is that Zednius said something to Tullius and killing everyone involved in the Dolno job.
Possible.
Why?
Bogdy was from Antari, right? Ex or current?
From Antari, yes. He, but his handler wasn't Tullius.
Yes. I presumed so. I don't feel like Tullius would let anyone. It doesn't seem like the type who would let anyone be an ex from Antari.
Do you think Tullius knew he was an ex from Antari? I mean, that'd be dangerous.
I don't know.
Did he say anything
the
that Bogdy did at it during the Dolno job?
Did he? How can I feel like I remember something.
I mean,
but I'm not sure if that was Severus knowledge or Corvus knowledge.
Explicitly, but like there was that final confrontation in the vault where Bogdy basically said, like, Zednius, you're gonna let us take the money or you're gonna get murdered in your sleep. Which, I mean, again, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's even a Fermentari, but it definitely does mean that, like, he was very aggressively threatening Zednius' life. So.
The whole Dolno heist towards the very end it got a bit ugly, and Bogdy did make a threat towards Zednius.
Gallius
I don't think. I think this might be retaliation.
That makes sense.
I've also been asked by the head of the judges whether I have any allegiances.
In general? Or did he... Do you think he was just suspicious of the Virian name? Or did it sound like he had something more concrete?
I don't think he had anything concrete. But it's honestly hard to tell.
Even my superior in the department of... I mean, as you know, I keep my head down. I don't ask for promotions. I, do my work. And even then, there have been times where I've had my work routinely audited by my superior. I think it's just the Virian name.
I don't know. I thought maybe the current head of the judges might be a bit different. He seems very practically thinking. I'm not sure how much he cares about societal norms or pressure, but then again, I don't know him that well.
I I think there are a great many good men within the Empire today, but if they fall for the Varusian Creed, then they believe that to assist rebels would be directly violating the word of God. It's
Of
no shock
course.
that so many are so implicitly loyal to him, even if they don't know they are. But if you're worried about it, I trust your gut instincts more than mine. I have the instincts of an administrator. Well, I think it's worth investigating these deaths, or if you want to go follow up on Klutz. Again, I think you're far better equipped to handle all of these investigative bits than I am. So I'll let you do it however you wish. I assume I haven't inconvenienced you in your judge's duty since you came here so fast.
We're currently on a break.
Yeah, well, that's good. And he'll kind of stand up from the milk crate and pat you on the shoulder. I'm sure that we'll find the cause behind this, and the fact that you're okay makes me think maybe it's not related to the Dolman job. We'll see. Do you want to spend the night here?
What time of day is it?
It's early afternoon.
So, I've been on the road for a few days. I guess it would be nice to sleep in a bed.
All right. And he'll take you upstairs. His kids have school the following day, tutorship, at the crack of dawn. So they're both asleep. And Helen is upstairs, so Gallius will go inform his wife that he'll be downstairs with you. And then the two of you eat stew from the pot. Gallius dismisses his servant for the day. And you drink and you talk about when you were a kid, basically. After your parents died, or your father died when you were 11, things were very chaotic. And, you had your own perspective on it when you were a little kid. It was, getting bullied and feeling like you had very little control. But your uncle attempted multiple times to basically induct you into his family. But your mom was still alive, so none of that functioned. So the two of you basically go over your history, and how does Corvus feel? This is basically the only family he has left, because his mom is an interesting relationship. So does tonight help him relax? Does it stress him out? Does he like talking about when he was younger?
I think he sees some sort of. I think he's made peace with most of it. He understands that holding grudges is just, at this point in his life, is just not worth it, worth the energy. So he'll relish on the good parts. He might be a bit bitter about small amounts of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll try not to show this.
Okay. And your uncle definitely won't pick it up. Your uncle is this weird combination of traits. He technically is a spy. He's even a spy master, if you will. But it almost all stems from his interest in numbers and administration, and very little in social instinct and ambition. He simply believes that being a republic makes more sense, and also he's personally incentivized. So his role really is just to pass along letters and organize things.
Yeah, he's not a cutthroat spy hiding in the shadows.
Yeah, he's not a Tullius, we'll put it that way.
yeah, he's just a good old bookkeeper who has some allegiances that some people don't have.
Yeah. So you'll spend the evening with him, and that evening you'll fall asleep in the guest bedroom. And the next day, where are we headed? We have 3 different directions we could go
in. He said that the place to where they were last seen was about a day and a half ride from here.
Yeah, so Bogdi was last seen in Tarocco. That's just where he lives. The other 2 were last seen in a village called Dobrev outside of Marsonia. Your uncle will tell you, it's a town of 50 people. It's a place that is not on any map. It's just a tiny little pissant town, but that was the whole point. They wanted to be out of the way, and the town has an inn, so they were staying there long term. And he sent their payment, and that's the last he heard from them. And then lastly would be Klutz, which was just hired by Zednius from one of the random mercenary groups.
Yeah, I think I'll check on Accent Tongue first, and then head for Taroko. I'll grab some rations first. If it's like a day and a half's ride, I'll grab rations for a week to be sure that I make it back and with some complications.
Okay. And yeah, you'll still be well within
How much
Imperial
is that
territory.
again? The rations are what,
20
two,
per day.
2 silver each?
1 silver. Wait. Yeah, 1 silver, right? Oh my god, you just fucked my brain. I think it is 1 silver.
I'm sorry.
Is it currency? Oh no, wait, now I'm guessing myself. I thought silver was 20 pence, but what did you do to me? I almost never forget
according
this.
to player's handbooks, 5 silver is a ration. But that's
okay,
that's
it's 20.
not
It's 20.
normal for you.
Oh my god, you broke my brain for a second. I don't know why. I almost never get currency math wrong. Yeah, it's 20. So 1 ration is 1 silver. So if you want to buy 7 rations, it's 7 silver.
An electrum is 5 silver?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll pay 1 electrum and 2 silver pieces. Oh yeah, just to be clear, earlier on for the whole relaxation stuff, I overpaid in a gold that I would have split up and then paid through it. So I just paid a gold.
Okay.
For the whole spa week.
Spa week. Yeah, and this will be largely safe.
I do have one more question.
Sure.
You said that once we reach the level of 7th level spells, it's not spells you just casually learn when you level up.
9th level, or 7th. What was the level cutoff? I can go check my document, but I don't remember what the cutoff was.
I feel like it was 7th, but
just double check. That sounds reasonable, but it is always worth checking because my memory is deeply flawed.
Basically, I'm asking if it would be possible for me to learn the teleport spell.
Yeah.
As my singular non-self-created 7th level spell.
Sure. Yeah, for
now, I
haven't put
anything
7th
there.
level or above cannot be learned. They have to be gotten from a scroll repository.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so for now I'll just leave my 7th level spells blank.
Cool.
Because I'm not finished with my stuff yet.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah, I can prepare 2 more spells now, I think. That's huge.
You also have the actual spell slot. The 7th level spell slot for upcasting.
Yes, I do have that.
Okay. Well, while you're working on that, you can mount up on the horse that you got from the Kiage of Lubelski. I think that's the horse you're riding, because I'm pretty sure you did the bridge battle, then you went back to the city, then he gave you horses to go to... No, you went on foot to Static, and then you went back there, and then you got... Okay, I reconstructed out. Yes, you have a horse, and it's from the Kiage of Lubelski. Okay.
That is great.
So you ride, not to Marsonia. I mean, you're basically riding to Marsonia, but you're going to be detouring down to the town of Dobrev. You're deep in Imperial territory. Technically, you're in the province of Transpontar Solaria, but there has never, the city of Marsonia has not been attacked by the Son of the Dragon, ever. Enemy forces just don't get this deep into Mythosian territory, so it's safe. We don't need to roll through and see what happens or anything like that. Just travel to Marsonia. You just spend 1 day at a roadside inn, though this one is run by the Department of War. One of the outcomes of the Edict of Patricia is that most roadside inns and taverns that could be shuttling enemy spies have been just purchased outright by the Department of War, and there is a small garrison of just 2 or 3 legionnaires stationed there who just ask you, where are you going? Where have you been? Just all these, acting like you're friends, but clearly leading questions. But for you, you're an Imperial Battle Wizard and a judge, so you can just ignore them. And eventually, you arrive at the city of Marsonia, and you don't really get to see the city very well because you immediately veer southward. And there's a sign telling you that you're approaching Dobrev in Tabrashan. You speak Tabrashan, right?
Let me check. I do, yes.
Okay, because if not, this is going to be unfortunate. But yeah, you see a sign that says you're approaching Dobrev, and as you like the Tarashian plains are these huge, sweeping hills, and as you crest this huge sweeping hill, and it kind of juts down like 5 feet beneath you, and then it like narrows down into a valley. You can see a smoking husk of a village. The village looks like it once contained about 30 or 40 buildings. Only like 2 or 3 of those are still standing. And you can see a Mithdosian war camp is like stationed about in the middle of the town where like the town square would be. And based on the banner they're flying, this is 1 century from the 8th Legion that is stationed here in the burned village.
They were last seen here in this village. I guess I'll head towards the camp of soldiers.
Yeah, I mean it's right in the middle of the village, so they can see you, you can see them. They don't seem like on alert, so you don't get the sense they don't seem like they're getting ready to be attacked. So you can see some soldiers like helping townsfolk rebuild the town. You can see a mass grave site over on the edge of the town. Like this is a reconstructive force, not like a destructive one. And as you ride down the hill, you can see that someone taps the shoulder of someone wearing a centurion's helm, and the centurion, along with a group of probably 3 other soldiers, will walk to your horse as you approach.
Yeah, I'll dismount. Greetings, centurion.
Centurion will give a nod and say, "We didn't call for a battle, wizard."
Sorry, I'm here on personal business. Friend of mine lived in this village. Haven't heard from him in a bit.
Oh, I see.
What happened?
Kind of scratches the back of his neck and waves for the other 3 soldiers to go back. You can see they're working on removing the burned out husks of what was probably like a town hall or maybe a quaestor's home, something like that, like a nicer house. And the centurion will say, "Well, there's only about 20 survivors. They all seem to agree that a couple of days ago, about a week now, a man came into the village, a rider. He was wearing Tabrashian plate, had his face covered with a death mask, and he just started casting fire spells all across the village. And when people tried to flee, he would strike them in the back. A group of about 5 villagers tried to charge him. He took out a sword and in close quarters dispatched them. Burned down most of the village, as you can see."
Man in a death mask? What is a death mask?
I'm not sure. It's some sort of Tabrashian thing.
Okay. And he just arrived on his own and just started burning down the village with spells?
That's what all the survivors seem to agree upon. I only got here yesterday. We were dispatched from Marsonia to help rebuild. Yeah, I can point you over to... He kind of gestures past one of the buildings that's getting cleared out towards a building that's getting built and says, "Most of the survivors are over there. You can see if your friend's among them."
I will.
"And do you have any magics for cleaning up all this mess?" And he gestures towards the burned ruins of houses.
As you can tell by my robes, I'm specialized in warfare. The best I could do is...
It's alright, if you can't
Harkon, words. I have an idea.
Sure.
Let me think for a sec. So, when you cast Polymorph on yourself...
Yep.
You become as intelligent as the animal you turn into, but you retain your personality.
Yeah.
Does that mean I retain my train of thought?
No.
My intentions?
No. It's just more so that, you're not going to start randomly attacking people. I think it says explicitly recognize friends and enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess the wording is just retaining your personality. Does that mean you retain, your intentions, who you are?
No, not complex thought processes.
Well, can I retain the... I'm wondering, basically, if I could turn into a giant ape
Yeah.
and clear out some of this debris,
I don't
or if
think
I
giant
wouldn't
apes are
be
that
able to
dumb, right?
understand
Like giant
that.
apes relatively intelligent, right? Isn't it like an 8 or
I
something?
believe. Let me check. Giant
Because an
ape.
8 would definitely allow you to do that. I mean, there are
7.
commoners. Yeah, I mean, seven's fine. There are commoners with 7 intelligence. So. I think you have to get down to like the 1, 2s, and 3s before we get to like, you know, incapable of basic intuitive action.
Yeah. So I'll say I could turn myself into a very large ape and
An
clear some
ape?
of the debris. Yes,
Like the
a giant
monkeys in
one.
the equatorial jungle?
Uh, yes, but significantly larger.
He kind of
I
chuckles a
would.
bit.
I wouldn't be dangerous to any of the soldiers. I
Sure.
I would still be me. But I could, yeah, I could clear out a decent chunk of the debris. Would last for about an hour.
I mean, I wouldn't
Um,
say no to assistance.
I'll just check if my friend is one of the survivors, and then I'll.
He nods. And yeah, you walk past. You realize now that the large building that they're like clearing out is the inn. It's probably was the largest structure in town, and you walk past it as legionnaires move like burned beams and basically like ash reduced, or sorry, thatch roof reduced to like complete ash. And eventually, you get over to the building that's in the process of getting built. Everyone here is mostly the locals, though there are a couple of soldiers. There are a couple of children. They're all with the like some legionnaires that are like some legionnaires and some parents trying to keep them entertained. What is left of the adults of the town are working on building this singular structure. They've already put up the skeleton, and looking amongst this 20 or so non-legionnaires, you do not see Axe or Tom.
Uh, I'll walk up to one of them and ask them. uh, I heard from the Legionnaire, but I have to hear from somebody who was actually here. What happened?
Yeah, you approach an older man who's not in the process of building. He looks like he has a nasty burn along his leg, which is like bandaged up, so he's just sitting on the grass. And he'll look up at you, and he has this kind of like shocked expression, and he says, "Oh, I was out tending my flock. Then I heard this explosion, so when I came back from the ridge, I could look down. There was just this man in the center of town, and he just pointed his hands. Fire came out. Huts burned. People tried to run. People tried to attack, but he just burned."
Did this man? I heard he wore a mask, but did he have any features? What did he look like?
He's tall. He wore that Tabrashan plate, you know, the type with scales on it. And he had this bronze or brass or I don't know, some type of yellowish mask on his face.
And he was on horseback. Is that correct?
Yes.
Um, did he wear in? Did he or the horse maybe on the saddle have any type of insignia? Anything that could demonstrate any allegiance?
He had a ring on his finger, some sort of signet.
A signet ring. Could you describe the signet to me? If you maybe, well, did anybody else see it? Maybe. I assume that nobody
I
tried to
think
get
it
up
was
close.
in Mythos, so I couldn't read it.
In Mythos. The Trabashan plate. That's odd.
He'll probably gesture towards the legionary banner, and you know what's on every legion's banner on top of like their local logo or whatever. There is also the Imperial Chi Rho, which is the P and the X crossed. So he'll indicate towards that. He'll say, it was sort of like that. There's 2 overlapped letters.
Let's see. Did the attacker say anything?
I didn't hear anything from up on the ridge. He wasn't here long either. Probably less than a minute, and then he rode away. He went past
What
me and my
direction?
flock to the southeast.
Southeast. Has anybody spotted him since then, or is he just gone?
If they have, the Legionnaires haven't told me about it.
Okay. Now, have you seen and I'll describe to him, Axe, have you seen a man that fits this description?
Of course. Oh, are you one of those friends we was always talking about?
Friend of a friend, yeah.
Him and that fellow, Levski, would always, drink in the tavern. They got real generous the last couple days.
Yeah, I heard they had a big thing to celebrate.
I'll look at you and kind of adopt a bit of a sad expression. Yeah.
Are they dead?
I mean, I couldn't possibly identify him, but everyone that was in the inn got thrown in the pit.
I see. Do you know if there was anybody who... Where was the first attack? The very first attack directed?
At the inn.
I see.
I didn't see it myself, but some of those folks that were down near the water or just outside the village center saw it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be... I guess I'll, don't get scared. I'll be helping the Legionnaires with some of the... Well, I guess some of the clearing of the debris and such.
Why would that scare me?
Because I'll be turning into a gigantic ape. But I'll still be me, so... If anybody gets scared, tell them it's okay.
He eyes you strangely.
And then I'll walk over to towards the Legionnaires.
Yeah.
Um,
The Centurion will kind of shout towards the guys cleaning up the inn and tell them to stop working and back away.
And then I'll cast polymorph myself into a giant ape.
Yeah, as a giant ape, you're basically like a, caterpillar excavator. The work that you can get done is is very rapid. You're not going to be able to build much in this form, but that's also not really your goal. Your job is literally just to obliterate what is left of these burned out houses and bury them in a pit that's already been partially dug. You work hard, you sweat and hyperventilate, and you shovel, ruin after ruin into this pit, and soon the pit is filled with ash. You burn your hands a couple of times because some of these houses are still not so much, there's just like deep parts where there's like a single coal still burning or something like that.
Yeah.
And you eventually shovel the majority of what was once, this town into that pit.
Wait, I burned my hand. Do I have to roll concentration?
No.
Okay.
And you begin the process of like smothering all the ruins with like the dirt pile, but you don't finish that by the time you transform back to normal. And your hair is disheveled and you're panting a bit. And the Centurion will pause for a couple of seconds before walking over. And you can see that like when you were running back and forth, you made this like muddy section of the earth where, because it was already slightly damp, and this giant ape sprinting back and forth made this like, a column of mud. And the Centurion will say, thank you. Saves us a couple days of work. Did you find your friend?
I'll look at him and just shake my head.
Well,
they were in the inn.
We forwarded the description of the rider to every other garrison of the 8th and the 10th Legions. So, he's in Transpomparse
One of
area.
the
We should find him.
one of the villagers told me he was wearing a Mithdosian signet ring. Have you gotten any information on that?
I heard that from a couple of townsfolk too, but the ones who draw it, it's not any symbol I recognize.
I see.
I mean, it's Mithdosian script, certainly, but I mean...
Do you have one of the drawings still?
No, but he'll grab a stick from his waist and kind of draw it out on the ground. It's just the capital letter A and then the letter T, inversed, overlapped. So I'll draw it out on the screen for you. The viewers won't be able to see it. It'll just be our little... So it's like a capital letter A and then an upside down letter T. Kind of like that. Though more clean than
it's the Deathly Hallows.
Is that what that looks like?
It's almost. There's a circle in there.
But yeah, he kind of shrugs and says, I know there are plenty of Tebrashans who served in the Imperial Legions at one point or another. I mean, the dragon himself served in the Legions, so it wouldn't shock me if it's just some Tebrashan boyar with some Mithdosian characters on a signet ring.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Either way, I don't know anything that starts with AT, so nothing important.
Just out of character, Harkon.
Yeah.
What was that guy that Severus, the Eldritch Knight that Severus recruited called again?
His name was Optimer.
Okay, Optimer, right. Was he exceptionally tall?
He was.
Okay. I'm just thinking, like, out of character, I feel like it's him, but who knows? In character, I almost certainly don't.
Yeah.
Right. He was seen riding to the southeast, but it's been a week. He'll be gone by now. I assume there's been no sightings of him since?
No, in the last 6 days, since the attack happened, I haven't heard anything. But also, they may have reached out to the legate of the Legion. I'm not sure if I would know.
Okay. Well, thank you for your information work. And thank you. I guess I'll be on my way then.
Alrighty. So, Axe and Tongue are dead. Burned alive.
Most likely, yeah.
Mysterious Tebrashan knight with fire magic.
Who can also use a sword.
Who can also use a sword. And was wearing plate.
Most wizards wouldn't do that.
Almost none, in fact.
Yes.
So where to now?
Taroko.
Okay, Taroko will be a 3-day ride. So we'll move to the 13th. Remove 3 days of rations.
Yep.
As it was traveling out here, traveling back is completely safe. You spend a night in Salernum, at your uncle's place. Little has happened in your absence, and it's pretty late when you get in. So he just asks. I think the only follow-up question he'll ask is if the two of them are dead.
And I'll just nod.
Okay, and he'll let you get some sleep. And the following day,
and I'll also tell him that I'll tell him that they were the first targeted, so presumably the primary targets.
He'll nod. And the next day, you head westward. This time, you were headed through the Gap, is what it's colloquially called by the locals. There's a giant mountain, and then there's like a tiny little isthmus, which connects the Regina Peninsula to the rest of Tebrash. This narrow area that you ride through on horseback, for centuries and centuries was a place of fighting. And that when the early Reginan Republic was pushing out onto the Tebrashan plains, they were stopped in this gap half a dozen times by united Tebrashan horse lords. It wasn't until the horse lords became disunited and started fracturing and fighting each other that the Republic was finally able to break through this gap and start to conquer parts of the plains. And the city of Taroko is one of the more impressive Mithdosian cities. It was once the second biggest city in the Mithdosian Empire prior to the Light Wars. and it shows. You know, it has lots of old architecture. Almost nothing that the city is famous for is from the last 80 years. It's almost all long before it. And what would you like to do now that you're in Taraka?
I guess I'll find myself. What type of day am I having?
What day? What a question. So it is November 13th. So I believe it would be. Let's take a look. It is a Wednesday.
Okay. A Wednesday. Yeah, depending on the time of day, I guess I'll if it's not too late, I'll I'll head towards oh my, I forgot his name.
All good day.
Bogdi. For some reason I could only remember Dolny, but that's incorrect. That was Dolno. Yeah, Bogdi's estate.
Yeah. Yeah. You said head near it, so you don't want to like go up to the front door. You just want to go to like the same street.
Yeah, I just want to. I just want to right past it.
Yeah.
I just want to see if it looks like there's somebody home.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think there's really a perception check needed. As you ride past, it's abandoned. Not like it's been rotting for years or something. Just that at the moment there are no servants outside. The front door is closed. Like the lights are off. There's no there's no candles inside. There's no sign of like recent activity. The gate is like padlocked shut. Um, no servants, no slaves, no people are.
Uh, and is there any like signs like it's for sale or something?
No, nothing like that. Just abandoned. Today, anyways.
Okay. I guess I'll find a place to stay for the night and then I'll investigate tomorrow.
Yeah, you get an inn in the city. Um, it's relatively middle class. Well, I guess you're a battle mage. You'll probably stay at one of the nice rooms. So it'll cost a gold for tonight.
Okay.
And you know, the primary news here in the city is of, as always, the war on the plains. Because while no battles have been fought in months, there has to be something to talk about. And the major thing that people talk about is the preparations for the campaign. The Emperor has been personally appointing and removing different officers throughout the main like Mithdosian army in the south. So there's 50,000 men down there, and the Emperor, for the first time in decades, is actually like micromanaging individual legates and like hiring and firing people, which has generally been the purview of the Department of War. So what that indicates really depends on who you ask, but yeah. So you get some sleep, you wake up the following day. What would you like to do?
I guess so he normally hosted like the parties of like higher society, right?
Yeah, so as Adile, his official duties was to manage all festivals, which there's like 12 or so in a year. At like unofficially, he was the default like party organizer, not just at where he lived, but like in public venues and things like that.
I guess today I'll once again uh visit the estate, but this time I'll actually like go up to it.
Okay, yeah, you head up to the estate. It is abandoned.
Is the front door like boarded shut, or is it just
No, it's just closed.
closed?
Honestly, it looks like one, it doesn't look like someone forced their way in. Like, it doesn't look like something violent happened here. It also doesn't look like it's fully abandoned. Like no one's been broken the windows and like started to loot it or anything like that. It just looks like no one lives here.
Hmm. Do I know any places he would frequent in Taroko?
I mean,
Any
so
high
he
society,
worked
like
directly beneath
bars
the
or
governor.
something like that?
There are lots of places like that. He also worked directly beneath the governor, so you could go to the governor's palace. I believe you have a bit of a history with the governor of Taraka.
I don't recall.
I think he is the centurion who took credit for all the work he did.
Oh, is he now?
I believe he is. Maybe that's the governor of
Yes,
Parliament.
he
Okay,
is.
yeah, it is the governor.
Yeah, Cosius Agrippa Spurius Canidia. Yes.
Yeah, Canidia.
That bitch.
Yeah, so maybe not him. So yeah, there are plenty of fine bars and establishments and stuff like that. Additionally, there are gentlemen's clubs, not in the strip club type of way, but like actual gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah, I think I'll visit something like that. Something where people of high society that he would hang around, like they would frequent his parties, go.
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere where I can find all the hot gossip.
Yeah, you do have to wait until early afternoon because they don't really open before then because no self-respecting senator is going to be doing that. But at around 3 o'clock...
I'll just clean myself up from the road, I guess.
Yeah. At around 3 o'clock, you find a senator's club that is open. You vaguely remember at one point, like at this point, probably 10 years ago when you were a much younger man, stopping by here alone because you were about to go off to the plains to fight in the Second Boyers' Revolt. And you head inside. It is as you remember it. There's games in one corner, like just card games, gambling, things like that. In another corner, there is a bar/restaurant, and then in another area, there's just a general lounge.
Indoor smoking something that's like
they don't give a fuck, bro.
like socially normal?
Yeah, of course they don't know about fucking lung cancer.
I assumed they wouldn't.
Yeah, they don't know.
But just maybe it's like a taboo thing because people find it annoying.
Fire moss would be very taboo because that's seen as like a poor drug.
Of course.
But, obviously tobacco. Okay. So, if anything, it's even a bit of a flex because tobacco isn't exactly cheap.
Yeah.
For common people, at least. So, yeah, there's these three distinct areas: lounge, game, and drinking. And at the moment, the only one that people are at is the restaurant portion. There's a small group of like 4 men at one of the gaming tables, but they don't look very welcoming to outsiders. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'll guess I'll head towards the dining section.
Yeah, the etiquette here is a bit strange. Like, it is not weird to sit down at a table of people you don't know. It's one of the few places that is kind of like that. So you go over and you sit down at a table of 2 young senators. You assume they are since they're here. You had to show your judge's badge to get initially let in, because just being a wizard doesn't actually make you a senator. Being a judge inherently does, or at least it makes you better than a senator, actually.
It makes you at least like have the status of something akin.
Yeah, so you sit down with these 2 young senators. One of them will look over at you and just give a nod, and the other one will say, "Hi."
Hello.
He'll extend a hand and say, Marcus Polonia.
Corvus. Corvus Spiria.
And, you know, you've had this experience 1,000 times in your life, so it
yeah, he has very anti.
But yeah, you say the Viria thing, and his expression kind of like adjusts. He's way too polite to like sneer, but that's the emotion that he's feeling. It's like, oh, it's a like someone of Clan Viria. In their heads, you know, you've heard this.
Like, yikes! I didn't realize they let these people in.
Yeah, you're like one step below even like commoners maybe, because in their mind you're basically traitors. So he kind of, his expression remains the same, but his like demeanor adjusts a little bit. And he says, so you're a battle mage. Are you on leave from the plains?
On a break as a judge.
Oh, and his demeanor once again shifts to positivity, and he says, "You're an imperial judge."
Yeah.
That mean he like the other guy who was eating his food. He's not paying attention to. He says, "So you've seen the emperor?"
Briefly.
I mean, you gotta tell me, what was it like? Are the stories true? Does he have a divine glow about him?
I'll say it's like the very air around him understands his position.
The
I almost couldn't look at him because it felt disrespectful.
He nods and points to the guy sitting across from him and says, "Agrippa, you know that shrine? The Shrine of Valiant Heart. They have that stained glass mural with the rays coming out of it. That must be what it's based on." Wow.
Certainly has an aura of just power, unconditional might.
So what brings you to Toronto then? You have family here?
Um. I do. Well, did.
Ah.
So a friend of a friend used to live here, and kind of cleaning up after his business.
I see.
On behalf of a family member.
Well, we just both study at Symposium.
Ah. What are you specializing in?
Well, I'm doing civil engineering. And he kind of smiles, but very proud of that fact. And the other one glances over and says, like, kind of with his mouth full, and says, military engineering.
I myself did law mostly.
The more talkative of the two, Marcus, will nod and say, "Yeah, I thought about doing that myself. That's what obviously my father does. But I don't know. These days, it seems like we need a lot more civil engineers. I mean, once the war in the plains is won, we'll have all that territory to build forts in. Imagine how many things we'll get commissioned to do."
Of course, of course. I don't know. To me, as a judge, of course, law is a requirement to. I mean, who could call themselves, who in their right mind would call themselves a judge without having at least some education in law? That would just be ridiculous. Now, especially now that we're part of the Department of Civility and no longer the Department of Faith.
Yeah, I guess that I could definitely see that being useful. I've only met one judge before, and I don't think he knew too much about secular law.
Oh, who would that be?
He was, well, I guess. What's the difference between an inquisitor and a judge? You guys are basically the same thing, right?
Oh, we used to be a lot more, have a lot more in common when we were still with the Department of Faith, but technically that we enforce secular law and
That would
the
probably explain
Inquisitors
it then.
enforce the faith.
My father served in the Second Warriors Revolt as a Tribunus Equites, and in his unit during an assault, they had a fellow with golden glowing eyes embedded in the unit. And I knew he was some sort of judge inquisitor thing. I'm starting to think he may have been an inquisitor.
There's judges with golden glowing eyes too. There's one in my group that has golden glowing eyes.
Well, the reason I said he didn't know much about law was because one of the Optios under my father's command decided to be a bit creative with the way he interpreted his orders, and the Inquisitor decided that that was treasonous enough to execute him. No court-martial or anything. I mean, if he hadn't been an Inquisitor, I'm sure he would have been sent to prison.
Jeez. Well, yeah. Especially when we were still with the Department of Faith, there was pretty intense judging that took place. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of some of the great smitings of Father Hyperion. Father Rixian, sorry.
Oh, I haven't heard of Father Hyperion. I have heard of Father Rixion, though, on the southern frontier during the war against the Necromancers, the Necromortis.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is said that when he smites evil, it can be heard up to a mile away.
Well, I'd have to see that to believe that.
Of course. Are you guys frequent here in this establishment?
The other one's still eating, but he'll say, yeah, I mean, so his and my father are both on the plains at the moment, along with most of our uncles, brothers, things like that. We're just a little bit too young to be given officer positions yet. So, we got to get to know some people outside the clan and stuff like that. I mean, It's
Yeah,
there's a lot
of
of
course.
Canidias around here now too, because the new governor. So it's
Yes,
a good
yes.
place to
I've
meet other fellas
I've served alongside him once.
alongside the governor.
That's like a lifetime ago. Yeah, back on Scotia.
Scotia. Yeah, I
Platonic
can't.
Inquisition.
Uh, I have to be honest. My history is not particularly good. I mean, I must have been. How long ago was it?
Um, I think it's like 10 years ago,
I
right,
think it was
Alcon?
like 10 years ago. Yeah. He kind of
Yeah, I'll
chuckles and
say.
says, I was about I was about 6 years old.
Wait, okay, these people are way younger than
Yeah,
I
they're like
thought
16,
they are.
17.
Okay, I thought they're like 25.
Nope.
Jesus. They're like children.
Yeah.
I'm talking to children.
Yeah. And he'll nod and say, "Well, I didn't know he had a military record. To be honest, I mean, not to, we love our fellow great clans, but Canidia doesn't have much of a reputation for war."
Yeah, during that part of the Inquisition, he made himself quite a reputation that eventually got him to where he is now.
Well, it's good to know. I mean, if the Son of the Dragon pushes past Patricia through Cispontar Solaria, that we have a commander at our head.
I'll I'll just give him like a smile, and say, yeah. Um, so you're saying that you're creating some bonds with the other great clans here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's mostly only Bologna and Canidia here. Not many Viria. In fact, I don't think I've ever met someone from Clan Viria.
But sure you know somebody of the clan Jania, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
family.
There's someone in my civil engineering class. His father's a quaestor, and he says that with like derision, like that's like pathetic.
Hmm. What about the Aedile? Here he organizes some of the best social events
Oh, the one here in
in all of Tarako.
Morocco?
Yeah,
He died.
he died.
Yeah,
Oh,
just like 2 weeks
when?
ago.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I
I mean, I don't
I
know the
went past his
details, but
estate and it looked like nobody's home, but I kind of assumed he just went somewhere else as he does
no, I
with his
mean,
business, but
he kind of puts the hand of the guy across from him who's still eating at his meal and says, "What, Grippo? What was the exact thing?" And Grippo will think for a moment and say, "What I heard is that he killed himself."
oh,
And the mood kind of lowers considerably, and Marcus kind of shrugs and says,
yeah.
"Oh, I know it was something. Either way, though, a new Aedile's been appointed by the governor. So,
Oh, who is it?
I don't know him very well. I think it's... There's not been a festival yet, so I haven't gotten to see his handiwork. I know he's from Clan Canidia. I think it's something like, Galarius, Galinus, something like that. One of those, G names. Either way, he's some relative of the governor. Trying to work his
I
way
see.
up through the curses Sonorum.
Hmm. Did the previous Aedile have family that he left behind?
Marcus will look over at Agrippa, and Agrippa will shrug and say, I went to his home a couple of times for parties, and he didn't introduce anyone.
I see.
He was one of those, Thrashin boyars trying to pass themselves off as senators.
He was, but he had his own unique charm because of it.
Agrippa will... You see the gears, like, at this point for the two of them, it's like you were just talking about a person, and they seem to both realize at the same time, like, oh, you knew this guy. And Marcus will say, oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
We weren't that close. I just, we were in the same circles for some time. At some point, you just kind of know each other.
Sure.
Huh. Oh, I was actually told by a family member that he hadn't responded, to a letter, so I was just checking in, I guess. Went past.
Yeah, I think I mean, I know he got honors and all that stuff from the governor. I think he's already been buried. And Agrippa will nod to confirm.
I see. Well, I think I'll be heading off. I need to write some letters. But thank you for the information, and I guess I was trying to say something interesting, but now I don't have anything good.
That's fine, yeah. Marcus will say, well, good luck contacting your family, and when you're back to doing judge work, good luck with that.
Yes, thank you. And good luck with your civil and military engineering.
Two of them nod. And, yeah, you exit the Senator's Club.
Bogdy's dead, huh?
Supposedly.
Well, allegedly.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the type of person who could fake his death if he knew he was in danger.
Yeah. Also, suicide is a strange cause.
Well, yeah, that's... If he died, then there's no way it was suicide, unless he was, like, forced, I guess.
Yeah.
Which isn't really suicide.
There's also not really enchantment spells that can do that. Even the strongest enchantment spell can't force you to kill yourself.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking more like...
Oh, manually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like... Basically, I guess crossbow point saying, either I kill you, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
Just go on your own terms, or I'll make it painful.
Yeah. He also, the Marcus sounded very unconfident about whether a burial has happened. So, who knows?
Yeah, so I guess I'll... He didn't really have family that I knew of. Or anybody else for that matter, I guess.
You know, considering he's former Frumentari, he probably just doesn't have family, period.
Yeah. I think I'll be heading back to his estate. This time not in my Imperial Battle Wizard robe, so I'll get into common clothes. And
Yeah.
I think I'll try to sneak in and investigate a bit.
Yeah, you go back to your hotel, you switch out clothes, you take your like well-oiled beard and you kind of like gussy it up a bit. Basically, you try to do as much as you can to alter your appearance without going super crazy with it. And then you head out. By the time you do, it's already nighttime. You reapproach Bogdy's estate. But while you're on the walk from your hotel to Bogdy's place, those two young men were very polite, but they did kind of represent almost everything you hate with the Empire, which is like nepotistic promotion of people who did nothing to earn it, like very tribalistic to the point of like they value their clan over the wider Empire. Like they're talking shit about their direct superior, like the clan Canidia. It's just, it's all the shit that is wrong with the Empire, even though they were, polite and helped you out. But yeah, you head to Bogdy's estate, and the front door is closed. Sorry, not front door. Front gate is closed with a lock. The premises is quiet, and nothing's really happening.
It is locked, you said?
Yeah, there's like a lock on it.
I'm not versed. This is not Severus. I'm not versed in lockpicking. I don't have a knock spell, so I guess I'll try to head around the property, try to find a way where I could maybe hop the fence somehow.
You can hop it almost anywhere. This isn't like, they don't have barbed wire. It's not a spike fence either, so just roll a basic acrobatics check.
More so about not being seen.
Oh, okay. Then you go to the side of the property where there's a tree with like branches hanging over it, which will create like shadows as well as it being nighttime that you can hide in as you climb over. So roll a stealth check, not even acrobatics.
Oh, whoops.
It's the same modifier, right?
Yes, it is
So
actually.
10
Yeah.
either way. Yeah, with a 10, you're passable. You know, like you said, this is not Severus, this is not a spy. Corvus is technically a spy, but like a weird, like not like a sneaking around type of one. But yeah, you hop the fence in the dark shadow of the tree. You are at like the back left-hand side of the main building. It's a compound of 3 different buildings, a stable, like a servant's building, and then the main building where Bogdy would have lived. And you're like the back left of the main building.
Mm, I guess I'll try to find an entrance.
Yeah, I
Check
mean
if
there are
the
servants'
doors are locked,
quarters
whatever.
galore. Like this is Mythosian compounds for senators are not meant to be very like secure. So there's multiple like servants' entrances. There's also the fact that since it's like a what do you call it a villa. There are multiple just open archways that you can walk through. So you can easily access like you just walk through like a low archway and there's like a covered sort of central area as well as several rooms split off from the main body of the villa. And there are doors here that like lead into the further rooms of the villa, but like none of them are locked. Other than the front gate, this place has basically been completely abandoned.
I see. So it's unlocked then?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just head inside.
Yeah, so the villa is separated into like 4 quadrants because it's like a square-shaped building that's a single story with a large like courtyard in the center and then 4 separate like nodules of the thing. And
Yeah, I'll head to the quadrant where I would expected him to like have his private quarters.
Okay, yeah, so that's going to be probably the one near the front gate. So you head into that, you start opening doors, you
And
find yourself.
wait, as soon as I enter, I will be casting Detect Magic, or ritual casting it, and having it
Alrighty.
up.
Yeah, after you enter into a quiet room, you sit there for 10 minutes casting ritual or detect magic, and the moment your eyes glow, you sit up and you look around. Nothing in your immediate vicinity is magical. And you are looking for like Bogdy's bedroom or his office or both.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can find his office. It is in the most isolated corner you could be in of a villa. It's in like one of the corner areas. If it's a square shape, it's in like the top left corner. So that the only way to get to it would be approaching through other rooms so he could hear you coming. His desk is also positioned with its back to the corner so he could see if anyone entered his office. And there's no windows in this room. So the only light at the moment is the very dull light of your glowing eyes, which doesn't really provide much to see by.
Okay. I'll grab a piece of cloth.
Sure.
And I'll grab some object. I have oh no. Some piece of tiny furniture, something, just something loosely running around will suffice. And I'll cast light on it and then cover it with a cloth so it's not blinding.
Okay, yeah, you grab a desk ornament. It's a little map of the Mythosian Empire, a steel map. You then turn that into light, and then you attempt to smother it with cloth. And while it does dull the light of the light spell is not like actual light. It's like an aura of light around the object. So it really only like dulls the object itself, not the light around it. But yeah.
It's also that if I walk past the window, nobody sees the fucking flashbang.
Oh, sure.
From the street.
Yeah, the aura of light remains, but the glowing object is obviously muted quite a bit.
Then I'll try to
make me an investigation.
Investigate his quarters and his office, basically for. Oh, of course.
Yeah, so your search of his quarters and the office, on first glance, yields nothing. But of course, if you'd like to add 10 minutes,
no magic signatures.
No magical signatures at all. No.
Okay.
Bogdy was not a spellcaster.
Well, yeah, but maybe whoever
killed
assassinated him might have been.
Yeah. So now you'll have to spend a full minute, another investigation check.
Okay. Surely. Oh, yeah, that's way better.
In his bedroom, it is incredibly Spartan, and you find nothing. Also, you don't find any signs of a struggle in either of these rooms, meaning either A, he wasn't killed here, or B, if he was killed, it was a struggleless death. With a 20, though...
Or he did really commit suicide.
Or he did, yeah. In his office, you find... you do not speak Frumentari, but you know what Frumentari looks like. What written Frumentari looks like Mythos, like the language Mythos. It uses Mythos characters. It even uses some Mythos words, but when you read it, it is gibberish.
It makes no sense,
yeah.
Yep.
So on the underside of the desk, you can feel something, like your hand is running along and you feel something carved into it. So you like get onto your belly, you look up at the underside of the desk. You can see here is a string fragment carved onto the bottom side of the desk in Frumentari.
Does this look recent?
No. No, it does not.
There's still like furniture all around, right?
Yeah, I mean the house, while it was abandoned, it hasn't been like properly processed in estate sale or anything like that.
Have like coal or graphite pens been invented?
No.
Like not even like using coal for coloring?
Nope. I mean, I mean there's charcoal sticks, yeah.
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 Basically I'm trying to hold parchment up against it and then get like a yes.
Yeah, you can take an etching of it. I mean, in basic Mythos, it reads the Warble or Warbles, but that doesn't mean anything to you.
Etching of Frumentari and these desk. I'll add that to my sheet.
It's also notable to you that, like, you don't speak Frumentari. Gallius doesn't speak Frumentari. You don't know any other Son of the Republic that actually speaks Frumentari other than Bogdi.
Yeah. But this is a hint nonetheless that
yeah, it's hinted.
Maybe
something.
I'll be able to. Maybe some comprehend languages at some point might be able to just cover this. Or is Frumentari written in a way where comprehend languages won't work?
On Frumentari itself, it probably would work. However, because Frumentari, it's weird. It is like a distinct language. Like it even has inverse syntax to Mythos to make it even more fucked up. So like, you know, in English you would say the red dog, you would say the dog red in, you know, flip it. So it does everything it can to be like Mythos plus, which does make it a distinct language. However, coded Frumentari, so if they like completely scramble the sentence and you have to unscramble it with a cipher, that wouldn't work, because then it literally is gibberish, even to like someone who understands Frumentari. So most communications by Frumentari will be written not in Mythos but in Frumentari, and then they will scramble it. So there's literally no method unless you both speak Frumentari and you can undecipher it to translate it.
So, ironically, the only person I would know who could decipher this would be Zednius, who would never give this.
I guess Zednius, yeah, you're right. He would be able to decipher that. True.
But I'd never in a million years given this, so yeah. That's out of...
It also probably, again, you just can't imagine Bogdi would leave some, like, message for the Sons of the Republic in Frumentari. That would be...
Yeah, it would be...
wacky.
Especially if he's being hunted by, like, Tullius, who's from Frumentari.
Yeah.
That'd be absurd. I guess I'll move on to his private quarters.
Okay. You have searched them already, but you decide to do a final search over. So roll me another investigation.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, there's a bunch of shit in his room. A lot of it you will pause at and think if it could have hidden meanings, because the way that, you know, the Bogdi that you know is someone who, barring, like, even during that heist in Dolno, which was very high stress, potentially lethal, he actually never broke character. He never, like, you know, said who he truly was to Zednius. Now, he did get very terse with him, but even in a moment like that, he never really broke character. So the clue that you're looking for, you know it's going to be obscure. So you spend time holding up every object in this bedroom to see if it could potentially mean anything to you. You know, for example, there's a dead drop system. So you look for anything that mentions locations. And you search this entire room, top to bottom. And what you eventually find yourself stuck on is it's a It's a small little thin piece of paper. It's the cheapest paper you could ever possibly buy. This is like 1-ply, borderline disintegrating when you pick it up. And it is a coupon for a free bath at the Ormani bathhouse. And again, that's all the object is. It's not like this has any significance to you. It's not like you know this bathhouse. Like, there's no code associated with it. It's just everything else in this room you are 100% sure is like nothing. But this is the one thing where you're like, maybe that means something, maybe.
Yeah. Have I heard of this bathhouse before?
No, but you also haven't been in Toronto for much of your life, so it's not particularly surprising.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll take that coupon and leave.
Okay. You leave the estate the same way you entered it. You put most things back to they were. You have your etching and you have your coupon. And you can tell that it's going to be a nicer establishment because for establishment to even be able to afford paper in the first place means it's actually quite upper class, even this really shitty, like borderline tearing paper. But yeah, that evening when you return to your hotel, you can inquire with the concierge, who is still awake, only because you're at such a nice place. And he'll tell you the Armani Baths are the most famous bathhouse in the city. It's built in the old town, which means it's like has a sanitation system, which is not true for some of the bathhouses down near the shore. There, they just have like tubs of water that get poured and emptied out and stuff. But this one has like an actual pump system and all that stuff.
That's amazing.
And yeah, it's the nicest bathhouse in the city.
Do they have? Are they open at this hour?
No, they close just before sundown.
Okay.
So you get.
So I guess
sleep.
I'll stay another night and then go there tomorrow.
Yeah, you wake up at the crack of dawn when the sound of birds, the sun poking in through your window, wake you up. You get yourself nice and gussied up with the full knowledge that you'll probably, be taking off this battle wizard robe.
Another night is another gold, I think. Yeah.
Indeed, another gold.
Okay.
And you head to the Armani bathhouses. This bathhouse offers, a large central bath. It offers private bathing rooms. It has like a heated bath, which there's only like two ways they could have achieved that. It would be either magic or like natural springs. There is no even awesome Mythosian engineering can't make jacuzzis. Yeah. So it's definitely either magical or natural, but it is, a sprawling bathing complex better than any one in Nauseous, though not as nice as the ones in Mythos proper.
Yeah.
What do you want? What are you looking for? What could he mean by this?
So this coupon, is it for like a very specific type of thing that happens?
So this coupon entitles you to what they call the Senator Experience.
What's that mean? I guess I'll head up to the front desk and
there is a young
ask
man,
them what the Senator Experience entails.
Yeah, there's a very handsome young man behind the desk, and he is wearing like flowing white robes, and you hand him over the coupon, and he says, welcome. Just come with me then. And do you follow him?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. He guides you not towards the main bathing area. He guides you towards a side room. There's like a little water closet, like a little like a place where you like get shit off your shoes. And he says, you can put your clothing in that locker there. Our masseuse will be in here shortly.
I'll nod.
And he leaves.
And yeah, I'll put my clothing over there. Hey, I guess there's a massage included.
Over there. You are undefended. Monka W.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they assassinate me in a bathhouse, but I guess stranger things have happened.
This is a default, like this is Hitman level 101. You send him to a bathhouse where they can't wear armor and then you kill him. Come on. Yeah, and then there's a knock at the door. And you hear a like deeper male voice say, are you ready, sir?
Is it like a robe I'm supposed to wear, or am I just naked?
Naked.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just. I don't think Corvus is too embarrassed about this. He'll just say, "I'm ready."
He opens up the door into this little like antechamber you're in, and then he opens the further door.
And Bogdy walks in.
No. It's just
That'd be
a
funny,
middle-aged
though.
man with big calloused hands, and he's undercover in a fucking bathhouse. That would be very funny. He leads you into a room, and this room is very interesting. So, in the center of the room,
you
in the
probably
floor,
get all the good gossip here.
there is a grated, like there's a metal grate in the floor, and underneath you can hear the sound of like water like moving and boiling, and the room is filled with steam. And the you get up onto like a central like basically table with a hole near the front that you can breathe through, and as your body is you're basically in a sauna, though it's a very low temperature sauna because it's being manually boiled, and then you are being
I imagine
massaged.
Corvus enjoys sauna stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many in the Empire, because the only two ways to get it are you're in a geothermal spring, which is really only in the Atlian Mountains, or by manually boiling water, which is a very resource-intensive process. So they're pretty.
Well, not necessarily if you're on a vacation, mate, but yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right. You just maintain it with a constant firebolt into the the fire.
Which is still annoying, I guess.
Yeah, but it's cheaper than constantly having to get fuel. But yeah, the masseuse will begin to go to town. What did Bogdy mean by this?
I don't know.
Your masseuse seems content to work in silence, and presumably whenever he's done, you'll be sent on your way. So you do have some time to think about if this was a message from Bogdy.
Maybe I was just overthinking it, but...
You did get a natural 20. That could be genius. A stroke of genius.
Yeah, maybe it's just a stroke of somebody massaging my back.
I mean, it does make
my
me
reward for
feel
rolling a
better.
nat 20 is a massage.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask, how commonly do people get coupons to be here?
What language?
What language?
Yeah, what language do you say it in?
Mythos?
Okay. He says in common, I don't understand.
Oh. I'll repeat it into Russian. Does he understand
You
now?
say what type of people get coupons? That was your question.
How commonly do people get
commonly?
coupons here?
Oh, you, pretty rare. It's only for repeat customers.
Any notable repeat customers that speak to Russian?
Yes. And he, begins to rub a knot out of your shoulder blade.
Does anything about him seem...
I mean, yeah, so obviously you can't see him at the moment,
That's not
but
really...
you can start picturing what he looked like when he first entered the antechamber, like in your mind's eye. And I mean, he's a stockily built man with kind of palish skin, or sorry, more like tan, like olive skin, which made him look relatively Mythosian. I mean, typically Dyrrhasians are paler than Mythosians, but that's not like a real rule. That's just how much time you spend in the sun. So it wouldn't shock you if he was like some type of soldier in his past or something like that, but he is also very good at massaging these knots out of your back.
I guess I'll ask, what about the former Adile? Did he ever come here?
Yes. He was a frequent customer.
Shame what happened to him.
Yes.
Any sort of reaction there whatsoever?
I mean, yeah, you're deeply limited by not being able to see his facial expression or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, just hearing his voice, he seems relatively unfazed. But obviously, I don't think that's like enough to go
on. I was friends with him. The good old Bogdy, as we call him.
Yes. He had he was always talking about his many friends. Where'd you say you were from?
Um, let me check. Capistrello.
I've never heard of it.
It's a small town in uh wait, does it even say what Salerno? No.
I think it's in Regianova or
Huh.
Solaria, one of those two.
So I say well, more recently I've moved to Salerno.
Oh, I see. He goes back to being quiet.
Fuck, I have no idea how to signal.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this spy shit.
No, you are not Bogdy. Or Severus. You are
Yeah.
Corvus. And also, you're being nerfed by not being able to see his face.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even... I'm not even going to give you the chance for an insight, because you can't, like, look at him in insight.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can't tell by the timbre of a voice of a man I just met. That's
yeah.
just... What about... You ever tell you about friends, his friends in Clan Viria?
He was like in the process of massaging your lower back. Like you were feeling some popping down there because you've been spending a lot of time studying recently. And then he kind of pauses for a moment and says, "Yes, Viria. What was your name?"
Corvus?
Ah, never mind. And he goes back to beating the shit out of your lower back.
Never mind, he says. Fuck. I was supposed to signal something there. I'll say, you might know my uncle, Gallius Viria.
He pauses again.
Ever talked about him, maybe?
How do you know Gallius?
He's my uncle. I live with him in Salerno.
You feel something kind of like cold press against your back, which you know is not his hands, because his hands are actually quite warm. I mean, they're human skin. And then it actually takes your brain like 3 or 4 seconds to actually like realize it, because he doesn't say anything, but you realize it is a weapon, as a blade of some sort, just the tip of which is pressed against your back, just lightly, not like hurting or anything. And he says, "And your uncle sent you?"
Yes.
"How do I know you speak the truth? Bogdy's dead."
I know about Dolno. I was there.
"You're a judge. You never told me your name. But he said he went with a judge."
He did.
You feel
2
the
judges, in
withdraw
fact.
from your back. "I have something for you. Stay here." And by the time you like sit upright, he has already exited out into the small antechamber of the room.
For a second there, you had me fucking scared that this was actually like a bait by the opponents and I was about to get
You're
murdered.
about to be just get fucking murdered. I mean, it is a good
Like,
place to kill someone.
Your uncle sent... Yeah, like, your uncle sent you? Yes, get stabbed.
There are definitely some things you could have said there that would have resulted in him killing you. 100%. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll come back, probably not that long, like 3 or 4 minutes. He has a satchel in his hand. It's a beaver pelt satchel, so it's waterproof. You can just tell based on how the water droplets like of the steamy room start to like beat up on the surface of it. And he hands it over to you and says, "That's for you."
I'll say, so Bogdy's really dead then?
He's very dead. I saw his body. He was tortured before he died.
We know who did it?
I don't know who this we is. I was working for Bogdy because he was paying me. Payment has run out, and I had one last task to do. I just thought your uncle was going to come.
He sent me. He's very busy at the moment.
Well, either way, as far as I heard it from the locals, he was heading to the governor's palace. His carriage stopped. A man climbed into his carriage. The carriage returned to his estate, and Bogdy was never seen alive again.
I see.
The only
Thank you for your
detail I got of
information.
the man was that he wore a plate. He had a ring.
Plate and a ring. Was there a Tabrashan plate?
No, it was. It looked like anything you'd see a legionnaire wear.
I see. Well, thank you for this then, I guess. Well,
you ever go to review? They don't like employing Tabrashans.
I'll sneer. They never do. I will give it a review.
You will?
Yes.
Holy moly.
I mean, he was good, right?
Yeah. I mean, he stopped halfway through, but yeah. You get dressed, you head out to the front. It was free since, they clearly, like, it's not that they thought you were Bogdy, it's that, he's the only one that would have been able to do it for free. But yeah, they ask you how it was, you report it was excellent.
Is giving a tip in these types of circles, like,
if
expected?
You wanted, it's not expected, but you definitely could have given it to him in the, like, massage room.
Now it's delayed?
I mean, we can rewind a bit if you wanted to give him a tip. But
yeah,
again,
I'll give him a tip of a gold piece.
It's not a gold piece. Yeah, it's very generous. It's a grand.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm giving it with a subtext.
Mostly for the spying work, not the massage.
Yes.
Yeah, me when I tip my masseuse $1 grand. That's a Mr. Beast video.
Yeah. It's not even a happy ending as well. Sad ending, in fact.
Sad ending. Yeah, your friend's dead.
Yeah, the worst ending.
But yeah, you leave the place, the bathhouse. You feel like pink and raw afterwards, and you go all the way back to your hotel into a private room, and you look for a.
How much is the senator plan here, by the way, normally?
Yeah, you can look at. There's like a pricing board written in chalk outside. Yeah. The senator plan cost 1.5 gold, so 1 gold and 5
Damn.
Yeah. Also, you can see. I mean, it's not listed on the board, but you assume there's more than like just the massage. There's probably like a whole like day involved, like a whole spa day. But yours was literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go back to your hotel. You go back to your room. You look for any sort of scrying shit and an invisible person, and then you open up the satchel, and inside are 2 sheafs of intelligence reports. So clearly Bogdy was writing them. He just for some reason wasn't sending them. Maybe he didn't trust couriers. But would you like to read the oldest one or the newest one? There's only 2 of them.
Let's start with the oldest.
Okay, the oldest is from September 20th, which to contextualize where we're at, it is currently November 15th. If there's any other dates you want to orient yourself on this, let me know. But it says September 20th. Since I've returned to Tarako following the bank robbery, I feel insecure in my position. I can't pin down why, it's just a gut feeling. I've not caught anyone following me, but I feel as if a sword of Damocles is hanging over my head, just waiting to drop. Perhaps once my turn as Adao has concluded, I can transfer to Breton. The influence of the Frumentari is far weaker there. That's the full report from the 20th. It's very brief. On October 7th, it says, today I was contacted by Lek. one of the leaders of the Frumentarii. He informed me that an attempt has been made on his life, and he expected a Mithdosian was involved. Therefore, he wanted me to investigate. He didn't explicitly state it, but I believe he strongly suspects Tullius. If Tullius is securing control over the Frumentarii now, that means whatever greater plans he has are soon to come to fruition. I suggest we burn one of our agents to kill him. Additionally, based on the type of letter I received, I believe Lek is in Zweito. Perhaps he has been fleeing Tullius for a while.
Where's Zweito?
I wish I could pull up the world map without my computer melting, but Zweito, if you picture the Tabrashan Plains in your head, it is literally as far east as you can go and still be in Tabrash. Zweito is about 15 miles from Lek's Wall, which is like the boundary of Tabrash and Nazar, which is this, desert to the northeast. So it's literally as far east as you can go and still be in Tabrash.
Okay.
It's like the heart of the Son of the Dragon's territory.
I see. That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
No, nothing from more recently, because based on the timeline you're given, he died on November 1st, so for the rest of October, there is nothing.
So, Black, the leader of the Frumentarii, well, as far as I'm aware, maybe he's no longer the leader. Maybe Tullius made his thing. Oh, wait, when did Tullius visit us?
Well, yeah, I was about to say, yeah. So that letter, that report is October 7th. It is currently November 13th. Tullius visited you on October 31st, and Bogdi died on November 1st. So Bogdi died the day after Tullius visited Nasius. Additionally, when Tullius was there at the dinner meeting, there was some conversation him and Zednius had, which you were not privy to. One thing he did say, though, was that the thing that was keeping him has been dealt with, and he's back for a while now, which at the time, is just ominous, but now you can probably reconstruct where he's been.
He's killed Leg, he's taken care of the Frumentarii, and now he's taking care of Bogdi and the rest of the Dolma heist.
It does look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I might be next.
It definitely looks that way. You can literally just make a list of people he's fucking shot.
Yeah. Okay. Whenever I'm sleeping, I'm casting alarm.
Okay, that's reasonable.
And I'm and the people that are like, because I think it's like you're allowing some people inside.
Yeah.
The alarm also goes out if Zednius crosses it.
I assumed you were
so there's no longer a trusted person. Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, it is like early morning. The first thing we did when we woke up was get a massage. So it is the 15th of November. We have all this information.
Back to Salernum.
Well, I do want to feed a thought that I think that Corvus would think of. Whoever that guy was at the bathhouse, we don't have a name for him. The Tabrashan, we'll call him that. The Tabrashan said that he saw Bogdi's corpse, and Bogdi had been tortured to death. Are you worried that everything that Bogdi knew is now known by the Frumentarii?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that would just so you know what Bogdi knew. Bogdi knows your name. He knows your entire history. He knows Gallius. He knows Gallius's involvement. As far as you know, he doesn't know more than that, but that is, more than sufficient to fuck you.
What's the fastest way to get to Salernum?
The quickest possible way would be to buy a teleport.
Yes.
But I don't know if you can afford that.
Can I afford to somehow get access to a scroll and learn it? Because then I could recast it myself.
How long does it take to learn to copy spells in 5?
By default, I believe it's like. Let me check.
I don't alter that thing, so however long it takes by default. Even the cost is unaltered, which technically it is altered because it's like 10 times worth.
For each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold coin.
Okay,
gold pieces. I don't have that money, by the way.
Oh, you don't have enough money?
No, I have like 10 gold.
Okay, then the time
However,
would
I have
actually...
2 objects I could technically maybe sell.
Well, those two are already on auction, right? The harp and the other thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then
So
I don't have
technically, it
anything.
would be quicker to, like, time-wise, to learn teleport, but it is still like you can't afford it. So now, if you really wanted to, you could go take a loan out from the Department of Coin. Because you are a senator, like you're a judge of the empire, they'll just give you a very high interest rate line of credit, and then you can just pay it off immediately when you get access to more money. But that is a way. Just go to the Department of Coin, take out a deeply
How
unfavorable
high is
loan.
this interest rate?
It would be a fixed. Basically, it'd say that from the moment that you take it out, you now have to pay them 50% additional, and then on top of that, it would probably be like 20% compounding yearly.
Compounding yearly.
Yeah, which isn't too bad.
Okay.
So realistically, if you think you can pay this off in like the next couple days, then it's just the 50% surcharge.
Yeah, I'm checking. That's 525 gold. Fuck. I don't know if we have that much. I have no idea how much Maximus has in his money bags.
It's up to you. Now, I will say, since it does take 14 hours to learn the teleportation thing, you are only saving like 2 hours. Because normally it takes a day and a half to travel to Salernum, but if you ride your horse ragged and then like travel through the night, you could get to Salernum by like late this evening. You just have to travel for 12 hours. So sorry, it'd actually take 2 hours longer to learn teleport.
Okay, no, yeah, I guess I'll just take the horse route then.
Okay, you ride. You ride through the countryside of Tarocco. You ride past military checkpoints where you simply flash your judge's badge. You pass through the Gap. You pass through pastoral countryland, and eventually you approach the city of Salernum in its fortress shape. You enter through the gates, and you ride to the merchant district, and it is very late at night. It's like 9 or 10, so the sun's long since gone down. Without your judge's badge, you wouldn't have been able to get into the city. And no lights are on at your uncle's abode.
We do not care. We enter anyways.
All right, you dismount, tie up your horse, knock on the front door, and after like 7 or 8 minutes, the door will open and your uncle's there, looking utterly exhausted. And he's like wiping sleep out of his eyes. He says, Corvus?
I'll nod and motion for him to let me inside. I don't want to say anything.
He steps out of the way, and then you hear he kind of says up the stairs and says, "It's all right, Helen. It's just Corvus. Is this a teleporting thing again?"
I'll shake my head.
Okay. Is it private?
Yes.
And he'll head down the steps.
I'll check with detect magic.
Yeah, so you're doing that as he's like heading down the steps to his cellar. By the time you get down to the basement, he like opens his mouth to speak, and you just hold up your finger to finish channeling your detect magic. And 8 long minutes later, as he's like struggling to stay awake, you look around the room, and there is nothing magical in it.
Okay.
He's so tired that he's like squinting a little bit. So
I'll say, how soon can he get out of town? Bogdy's dead.
I suspected as much. How'd he die?
Torture.
And he wakes up quite a bit. Sir, was he officially accused of anything?
No. I suspected it was Tullius. From the timelines, it seems Tullius had a murder at the beginning of this month, about 2 weeks ago. I don't know how much information they managed to extract out of him. But he's dead. Axe and Tongue are dead.
Bogdy knows where one of our accounts is.
Everything Bogdy knows, consider it blown for now. Until we can make sure the opposite is true.
Then...
And I've gotten his last 2 reports. I think Tullius has full control for Frumentari.
I see. And Bogdy's old handler?
Lek, previous leader of the Frummentari,
Yeah.
I believe. We can presume him to be dead too.
Well, then Bogdy knows there's 31 million pence sitting in an account. It's nauseous, written under the Department of Coin. So we'll need to get that out.
And I don't know how much they extracted of Bogdy, but there's a chance they know of your and my identities.
Yes.
And involvement. I don't know how
Bogdy
much.
also
I don't know how much Helena knows.
nothing, but I'll figure it out. Bogdy also knew that there was a branch of the Sons of the Republic in Parla. He didn't know any other details, but even that narrows it down for them quite a bit.
What didn't he know of?
He doesn't know about the sword in the vault. He doesn't actually know what the money from the bank heist was going to. He doesn't know the names of anyone other than you, me, Axe Tongue, and another fellow named Decimus. He knows about the safety deposit boxes in Mythos with the pamphlets. And he's smart. He was always had his nose to the ground. He could know more than what I know he knew.
Of course.
Why haven't they come for us already?
My biggest hope is that Bogdy was trained as a Frummentari, and part of that training is to be able to resist torture. So maybe he didn't spill much.
What was the gap
That's
between
the best we can
their
hope
deaths?
for. When did Axe and Tong die? Like 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
You were told that, so it was a week after you arrived, or before you
Oh,
arrived,
no.
which would have put it on November 4th.
Oh, yeah. So I'll say Axe and Tong died 2 or 3 days after him.
That accounts for travel time. Could be the same person doing all of it.
They did wear the signet ring that... I don't know if have you ever seen a signet ring with an A and a T? Mythos?
No. It could be someone's individual family name.
Yes.
But I don't know of it.
What's Tullius's like known public name he goes by?
Well, he doesn't really have a known public name in the sense that he's like a known figure. Like, if anyone knows about Tullius, what they know him as is a distant relative of the imperial family. But his formal, like official name is Tullius Gallius Marcius Perusian Verusium.
Okay, so no A in there.
No.
Oh, that's all I wanted to know.
There's no A and no T. Well, I guess there is a T.
It would be
Tullius.
too obvious.
Yeah. It would be pretty insane to be like, yeah, my murdering spy, I will just wear my name on his finger. Unless you think it's Tullius himself. Yeah, Gallius will nod and say, it could also be a honeypot.
They could be trying to just shake everything loose and see what moves.
Sort of. I'm thinking they're waiting. They're watching my house now. They could be waiting until I meet with other people, making a log of everyone I meet with over the next month, and kill all of them as well. That's how I do it. Person by person, you work your way through the organization. But you can't go all at once, or elsewise you could lose connection to the rest of it.
Possible.
I
I wish I had any more information.
I don't think Tullius would kill you.
As a judge, I'm probably a bit too high profile.
Agreed. You've been appointed
When
by
I
the
know too
Emperor
much.
himself. Even if they did a simple speak with dead on your corpse, that would be enough.
However, not out of reach. I'm so sorry.
I could flee. I've always thought about going to Zuri. But
You could.
I could
What
also.
about the Delian League?
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Zuri. It's a city in the Delian
You could
League.
sell the sword, use it as a initial fund.
Yeah. I could also. Hell. Well, I only have 3 contacts left. But I could tell them not to come here. Obviously, you've already come, but we can explain that we're related. And I could
Yes.
simply wait.
Well, there carries an inherent risk of you dying.
I agree, but
Are you willing to
if
take
you
a
say they
risk?
got Bogdy on the 1st, that means it's been almost a week and a half. Almost 2 weeks.
The day before they got Bogdi, Tullius visited us, saying something about how the thing he was busy with has been dealt with and he's free now, and he seemed pretty happy about that. So I expect that was him taking over the Frumentari.
Do you think I should go then?
It's hard to be objective. I personally don't want to see you or your family hurt. Be all I have. But I think the final judgment is yours to make. You've been at this longer than I have. If you think that staying here is the wiser course of action, I trust you. And if there's anything I can do to help whatsoever, then let me know.
Do you think you could go get a bottle of wine from upstairs?
Of course.
And you head up and you come down a moment later with 2 glasses, and your uncle is in deep thought. I think the quickest I could leave would be 3 days. That'd give me time to quit my job, sell the house at dirt cheap, pack everything up, and travel past to Zuri. That'd be the absolute quickest. If I wanted a good price on my house, it'd be months.
Well,
Plus, once I'm in Zuri, I can't do much. Letters would be delayed by weeks. I wouldn't be in social circles here in Mythos. I'd have a hard time recruiting. I'll have to think on it. Do you think, other than Bogdan, there's any way they can find me? I mean, I guess if they think you're involved, they could just look at who you're related to. But then I feel as if they would have already come. Unless...
the man who gave me the satchel
There's a man.
was... Yes. He worked... He didn't know about anything, except he knew that to give the message from Bogdi to you. Or me, I guess.
Interesting.
So he knows about your identity, but he doesn't know about anything. But he doesn't even know what this is about. But I guess if they were tracing my steps, they might find him.
I think you'll see
I'd
like a
ask
slow
him.
realization of something appear in your uncle's face. He'll kind of like, his eyes kind of widen, his jaw kind of slackens. He says, "You know, there's a if you go through the Department of Civility and you request public records of someone, there's a delay because it takes time to recover their documents from various stash houses. If on the 1st they became suspicious of you and they requested your documents, they would have had to gone all the way out to Capistrello."
Wait.
And the time it
Do you
takes to go
think
there and back.
they wouldn't do anything to my mother, would they?
I don't know.
She doesn't know about anything.
Of course she doesn't, but they don't know that. They've already killed Bogdi. They've killed an Adile.
And they're gonna get away with it too.
No one was investigating?
It was ruled as a suicide.
Sure.
As far as I'm aware, they entered his carriage in broad daylight on the way to the governor's place, brought him back home and tortured and killed him there. And there was no sign of anything in the house. Neither was there any report of anything happening. The house was abandoned, no family was left behind, and, well, from what the public knows, it's suicide.
Then we must consider the governor and Paracco an enemy as well. He has to be cooperating. No sane governor would allow something like that to happen under his watch to one of his own employees.
Probably not.
But if they went to Capistrello, or if some courier did to get your information, it's a 4-day journey out. On the way back, could have been delayed. Could be that.
Do you think I can intercept him?
Well, if you say they killed Bogdi on the first, I think it's too late for that. More so mean they may know about me now if they didn't previously. I'm listed on your birth certificate as your godfather. And then from there they'd have to reach into the Department of Point employee records, which would only take a day or two.
I'm a dojo for the efficient bureaucracy. I'll chuckle.
He does not.
Yeah, it's gallows humor.
That could explain why there's been a delay. They were going through all the proper channels to figure out who I was. Tomorrow I'll start organizing a move to Zuri. Like I said, I think 3 days is the quickest I can do it. Maybe 2, but probably 3. Do you want to spend the night or go back to Nauseous?
I think it's best if I leave. Actually, I don't know. I feel more comfortable being here for the night, I guess. Making sure that if something happens, at least I'm here. As long as I'm here, they shouldn't be able to make a move.
I'll pat you on the shoulder and kind of stand up a bit. Well, I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep anyways. I'm going to go to my office and start getting a head start on the paperwork to sell everything.
What are you gonna tell Helen?
I'll just tell her to trust me.
Or not?
And he heads up the stairs and heads over to his office. You've been writing all day, so where do you head?
Well, the guest chamber, but not before I cast an alarm on the threshold to the room he stays in.
So not the front door of the house, but like the office that he's in.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Will he trigger it if he crosses it?
No, of course not.
Okay. And
anybody like him, his wife, or his kids, anybody who lives in normally or is fine.
Yeah. Is it a mental ping?
And
or
me,
is
of
it
course.
Bells?
Mental.
Okay. You head up to the guest room. You lay down. You take off your boots.
And I'll tell him about it, of course.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll keep my spell bow close.
Yeah. And you drift off to sleep. And then you awake to the sound of an explosion. It takes you've just heard this sound, and it takes you a couple of moments to adjust to what you just heard. But you 100% just heard an explosion, and you can hear a shout from downstairs, and more importantly, you can hear the sound of burning from outside, like the front of the building that you're
front of the building exploded.
Something like that, yeah.
Give me a quick rundown of the layout. Where's the guest room in relation to my uncle's
Yeah, so this
room
is
at the
a
entrance?
two-story residence. All bedrooms are on the second story. There's 3 bedrooms up there. There's the parents' room, kids' room, the guest room. Down on the first floor, there is an office in which there is which is where your uncle is, which is near the back right side of the house. So the only person technically at risk of this fireball would be the wife, but that would mean the fireball would have had to, or the fire, whatever it is, the explosion would have had to obliterate literally the entire front, half of the house. There would have to be no house there anymore. But yeah, I mean, you're just in your bedroom at the moment, in your underwear with a spellbook in your hand. So.
Yeah. How long does it take for me to put on my robe or shoes and shoes?
Yeah, these are not.
I'll
this
put
is not
that
armor,
on.
so it doesn't take very long. Yeah,
I'll
you
grab
pull your
that,
boots
grab my
on.
spellbook, and leave the room.
Yeah, you burst open the door, and in the hallway, the door is opening. You can see in her nightgown across the hall from you. You can see your aunt, Helen. You can see the door to the kids' room is a little bit open, and you can see 2 frightened pairs of eyes. And now that you're on top of the banister, you can look down to the lower level, and you can see that this house is not actually made of wood. It's made out of stone, but there are parts of it that are made out of wood. For example, the interior of the building is made out of wood. The windows are made out of wood. And
the flooring, I assume.
Yeah, all of that's made out of wood. And someone clearly fireballed the front of the house. The door, the exterior of the door is burning. The window frames are all burning. So the external fixtures of the front of the house are on fire. And through a little glass portcullis in the center of the front door, you can see a figure, quite tall, wearing plate armor, approaching the front door. You have maybe 12 seconds before he reaches it.
How far is he?
He's on the other side of a closed door. He's 30 feet away. He's walking pretty slowly. And you notice none of the witnesses mentioned this, probably just because they didn't know how magic works. He has a necklace of fireballs around his neck.
Okay.
He has 6 beads remaining.
I swear to God, I feel like I remember this necklace of fireballs being found by us early in the campaign.
Yeah, and somebody gave it to a certain individual.
Fuck. This is evil.
Well, we're actually going to roll into initiative while you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I think I've changed the setup a little bit. I think it should work. We'll see. Technically, I put you at the top of the stairs, but it's close enough. So I'll change up the music a little bit. And you'll have 2 full rounds before he enters the building because he's walking very slowly. He's definitely pacing himself. Okay. All right. This is actually a lot better than last time. I think I can actually run combat like this. Okay. So then we do this. Oh. 1 sec. Whoa. Okay. 1 sec. Work on things. Sorry. If you want to do anything during these 12 seconds, let me know. I'm just fucking with the technical shit.
Should I roll initiative now?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay.
13.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, can you roll for me? I'll let you know what it's marked is.
Sure.
I now realize the downsides of the method that I've chosen. It's all right. You can roll a d20 plus 1.
Once he rolled well, he rolled an 18 total.
That is, yeah. Okay, I think this will do for now. Okay, so we'll pull up the initiative tracker, manually add initiatives added. Okay, so on initiative 18, he's still not actually at the position he's at. Oh, I do need just one last time. Let's see. Oh, the viewing experience of this episode is going to be rougher than usual, but that's okay. Okay, so Optimer is going to walk forward 15 feet. You see him withdraw as his action. He takes another fireball off his necklace, and this time he throws it at about a 45-degree angle upward, strikes the top of the building.
Wait. Could I counterspell this?
No.
Or is it like an item
action
thing that I
that's
can't?
not casting a spell? Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it strikes the roof of the building, and like it doesn't actually blast open the roof. Instead, it like spreads across the roof, and you can hear above you the sound of the entire roof, the wooden roof, igniting. Your turn. So you're at the top of the stairwell. Technically, you're on the banister, looking down onto the first floor. Ellen and the two kids are up here with you. You don't see your uncle down on the first floor, but he also could have run down to the basement or already. You're not sure where he is. I'll put it up.
This front door is like the main entrance, right?
Yeah, it is.
And the rest of the walls are stone, right?
Yeah, the outer walls. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna cast a wall of force to block off the doorway.
Okay, put that in chat. An invisible wall of force springs into existence at a point you choose, appears along any orientation you choose. Form it into a sphere of a dome, a sphere. So I assume you're making a flat surface 10-foot by 10-foot panels that just completely block off this entryway.
Floor to ceiling, yes.
Okay, so it's a little bit awkward, but you're gonna have to angle it slightly for it to work, but yeah, it works. Technically, so
and
these
then
squares are
I'll shout to Helen behind me. The office is upstairs to the left, right? Or is this the office?
The office,
this is like
yeah,
a dining room.
that down there is.
Or is this the office?
The office is down to the bottom left. Yeah.
Oh god. Could I angle it then? Could I angle the wall of force then, like more like this then?
Sure.
Okay. Just in case he can like somehow break through this wooden wall. Yeah. I'll just.
That's your action. You cast the wall.
And then I'll move.
Yeah.
What? Wait, are these half squares or full squares?
They are half squares. Yeah. So each one's.
Okay, so
2.5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is the door open?
It is. Yeah. Inside, you can see that your uncle is standing up at the central table and looking towards the windows because the flames have played a very weird trick, and they've like the heat of the burning windowsills has now started to crack the windows open.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'll tell him, get upstairs.
Okay. On initiative 10, he has enough movement to basically rush past you to go upstairs.
I'm gonna make it to the side.
Yeah. You can't really see what exactly is going on there, but he runs past you upstairs. And then Optimer, on his turn, is going to, based on how his stuff works. Yeah, I think you just, yeah, you hear the sound of the door being broken down, and then he casts a spell, which, since he's technically not in your line of sight, let's see.
Yeah, but you know, at least you can't throw a fireball past as well.
Correct.
That's
your turn.
Okay. So first I move back here. Can I tell?
Yeah, he has mirror image.
Yeah, I heard him cast a spell. Okay, mirror image. Okay.
Yeah, there's 4 of him now.
Let me just. Wall of force is. Nothing can physically pass through the wall, but if I remember correctly, it is fire. Would you say fireball is a physical projectile?
It certainly is.
Okay. Never mind then. I don't have anything that could hurt him through this. Wait, actually, can he hear through this?
I think you can, yeah.
I'll toll the dead on him.
Nice. Yeah, you can definitely see him because it's see-through. Okay, cool. With some saving throw from our friend Optimer.
If he's hurt, it's
fail.
8. Otherwise, it's so it's 8 necrotic if he's hurt. If he's missing HP, otherwise it's 15.
Okay, it's 15.
Okay.
All right, and that doesn't affect his mirror image, though. It may trigger a Constitution saving throw. it's not.
It's not a concentration spell?
No. Okay. Interesting. Okay. On his turn, he will sprint through the door and begin going around the long way. I mean, you can easily see him through the window. It's not like he's being particularly stealthy about it. Also, there's the sound of like dong, 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 dong as he like sprints around the building. All right, Corvus.
Oh, he's going through the back door?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess this is honestly fine. I guess I'll stand here for my turn, and then I'll also cast mirror image on myself.
Okay. Alrighty. See, it's not even quite a wizard duel, because, like, he's not even a wizard, he's just something else. Oh, you already had it?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, wait, you remove both of them. Okay, you had yours back.
Yeah.
Alright, Optimer will finish sprinting around, and at 45 feet, he reaches the door, and he doesn't actually have the action to open it, so instead, you will hear the sound of rasping metal, I think is the best. Oh, and actually, you can just see him through the window. He takes out from his pocket an iron bands of Bolaro.
What the hell is that?
It's a magical... You're quite familiar with them. They're actually relatively common. People can make them still. It's just a bunch of bands of iron, which, when you throw it at someone and speak the command word, open up and then form like an iron sarcophagus around the target.
Is it like a dex save or something?
Something.
Or is it an attack roll?
I think it's a dex save.
Okay.
Basically, if they fail it, then they're like restrained. And it's Joker. It also covers your mouth for purposes of spellcasting. All right, Corvus.
Okay.
It's your turn.
I can't see him right now,
You can see it through the
but yeah, but the window is closed.
It is.
I don't have like a. I can't shoot a projectile at him basically.
Yeah.
Though he doesn't. And the door is solid. I assume there's not like a little like window I can see him through in the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would a magic missile work in this case?
No,
Since I can
there's
see him?
literally no opening for it to go through.
Okay. I guess I'm... Do I hold the dead or do I ready in action?
Well, next turn, that door's open now. You'll be in melee with the
Is it possible for me to open the door and get outside? Like past
door?
him? Yes. No, this door, this door.
Oh, this door. I mean, you can't get past it, but you could open up the door. I mean, he's like fully blocking the door.
Okay, I'll get in like the doorway, open the door,
Okay. He looks pretty surprised.
and then I'll cast Polymorph on myself.
Opening a door takes an action.
Oh, it does?
It does. That's why he didn't open it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I wouldn't do that then.
Yeah, that's why.
I guess I'll just cast Toll by the Dead on him? No. Yeah, I think I will actually cast Toll by the Dead on him.
Okay.
Through the window still.
Sounds good. Sick.
Big roll.
Okay.
He saves, so he takes 12 necrotic damage.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Some additional details as his turn begins. He has, so just to cover some stuff you would recognize magic items, he has a necklace on that has an AT symbol on it, and it also has a little blue gem at the center of it. That looks magical. He has a signet ring on his finger with the overlapping AT. That looks magical. He has a sword, which probably looks magical, which he's holding in one hand, and he's holding the iron bands in the other, so both of his hands are occupied. with his sword hand, he will, use his bottom 3 fingers to open up the door as his action. Step inside, and then he will, as he like turns and this is his first time getting like a good look at you. He just saw people dashing around in the darkness before, but as he looks at you, he says, "You weren't supposed to be here." It's your turn.
Wait, he said one of his hands is free. Both of his hands are occupied.
Yeah, sword and iron boots.
Okay. So unless he has Warcast, he can't cast spells with somatic components.
Right.
Which he might have, honestly, but I'm risking it.
And you don't react to what he said at all?
No.
Fair enough.
Corvus is very angry at this guy.
Yeah, when he's like home invading, that's probably not the time to have a.
He's attacking like my fucking the children of my uncle.
Yeah.
I'm casting Immolation on him.
Oh fuck. Okay. Flame reach one creature you see within reach. Creature must make a dex save. I think this is the first time you've gotten a chance to use this, right? I remember you thought about using it at the bridge, but you didn't need like big single target.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So roll.
Just about saves.
D6.
Wait. That was actually. Oh my god. Yeah. So 86.
And he doesn't get set on fire, which is the big loss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
22 damage.
Okay, yeah, the flames consume the upper half, and he screams from within inside his helmet, an deafening
the wall of
sound.
force drops, by the way, because this was a concentration spell.
Yeah, and also his mirror image doesn't help with immolation at all, nor does it help with Toll the Dead, so you're hitting him with spells that just don't care about mirror image at all. Okay. Optimer is bloody.
Okay. And I'll tell him right away, I'll say, leave if you value your life.
Okay. You hear heavy breathing from inside the armor as he advances.
And I'm not moving out of the doorway.
Yeah. He's gonna do 3 things. He's going to go longsword, 4 things. Longsword, longsword.
Hit, miss.
Alright, and then you should roll the mirror image things.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. I think it's a 1D.
Mirror image.
You should look it up. I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. D20. What? Whoops.
Holy shit.
D20. The first one hits me.
Okay, so you take 10. No, yeah, just 10. Not crit damage.
And then the second one hits mirror image.
Okay. Subtract 1
So
mirror
2
image.
mirror images left.
Yep, and then his final attack, he is going to choose. Oh, wait a minute. Could do this, but this also hurts him. So yeah, he's gonna do iron bands. So it was an attack, not a save. So with his other hand, he logs this huge chunk of metal at you, and he speaks. He says "Velarios" as he throws it at you, and a 10 represents. He basically whiffs it. Like, he's so close quarters. He's so focused on stabbing you. He does this like big underhanded throw in your direction. The wall next to you, this massive like lattice work of iron, rips the wall to your side. You can see, like, in some areas, cracks like appear in the wood from how hard the iron bands just hit. And then after like half a second, when they're not on a humanoid target, you watch as they recoalesce back into a ball and drop on the ground. Okay, so next to you on the ground, there's a little iron ball.
Okay.
All right.
He didn't do anything about counterspelling before.
No, but he does have.
And his dex type.
If that's related at all.
Oh fuck. Actually, it might be.
Your turn, Corvus.
But I'm risking it. I'm going to 7th level disintegrate him.
Jesus Christ! Holy fuck! Oh my god. Okay.
How does he roll not 20 You fuck on.
What can I say?
Me.
What can I say? Okay, but that's still a lot of damage.
Wait, no, it doesn't take any.
What? If the
unless I'm
creature must make
misremembering.
an X save on a failed save.
Unless I'm misremembering, the disintegrate is a save or suck spell. So if you save, you're chilling.
as you raise your finger and disintegrate, it goes past him and obliterates one of the rear support pillars of the building. Or not obliterates, it just disintegrates one of the rear support pillars of the building. The entire building buckles slightly, and Optimer is still in it. Oh, man. That was a lot of damage. Jesus Christ. Okay, on Optimer's turn. Optimer will change his position slightly. Free item interaction, pick up the iron bands once again. Now, I don't think he can use them. I think iron bands have like a time limit, but he did recover them. And then he will swing 3 times, and when we get to it, he'll be casting a cantrip. But first, the 3 sword attacks.
I'll be casting shield on myself as a reaction.
Alright, so boom, boom, they bang against your shield.
The first one would still hit. Let me just roll the d20 for the mirror images. Let me just check. But 2 mirror images left. Tommy, what did you have to roll? 8 or higher. So yes, the first one bonks a mirror image, and the other 2 other ones are blocked by my shield.
Okay. And the final thing he's going to do is to throw a fireball behind you into the living room. Now, this doesn't actually hit anyone else in your family. The flames do probably pass up to the balcony where you were before, but you just have to trust that your uncle wasn't like watching you fight. Like that'd be you trust him enough to assume they're not up there. Plus, you don't hear any screams. You, however, have to save against a necklace of fireball, which is just normal fireball spell. So I will roll it, and you just need to make an exit. Wait, spell's level 69.
Yeah.
Oh. I removed the spell stop.
17.
All right, 17. So you pass, obviously. So you take 15 damage from the flames singeing the back of your coat. Corvus.
Yep. Oops, I removed. There we go.
During close quarters melee fighting with an Eldritch Knight.
Yeah. And he's losing.
He's hurt.
In my book.
You are quite high level. You definitely didn't expect a 13th level wizard to be here.
Well, I'm using my 6th level spell slot and trying to disintegrate him.
Okay.
Please fail your dex save.
I mean,
that was
he has
such a good roll. Holy fuck!
What's the odd he gets impaired? That's a failure.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, 88 force damage.
Your hand extends and a small bolt of black energy goes from you. You've seen.
Oh, and I just say die.
What happens with disintegrate? You've killed people with it. You've seen the remains of bodies with it. It strikes directly in the center of his chest, and you watch as immediately you recognize he's going to die. You watch as like his central chest cavity starts to turn that dark black before it's supposed to crack away and fade. Then the diamond in his necklace, that little blue gem I mentioned before with the AT, that gem cracks and he disappears. He's teleported away. But
does it seem like the disintegration stopped when I cracked?
I'll put it this way. It looked like it was progressing and then he got teleported away. There was no indication that it was stopping.
Okay, so he arrives back at this safe spot as a pile of dust, I hope.
It's distinctly possible.
And then I will immediately, once he's gone, I'll immediately... first I'll make sure there's nobody else here, and then I'll try to help put out the fires, I guess.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
Perception. I'm not great at these, but I rolled well.
Yeah. Out on the back lawn behind the house, sort of like, basically, so the house is surrounded by a low stone wall, but there's a little entrance to like a back street. You can see the silhouette of someone wearing like billowing robes, but after you make eye contact with them, they walk away. So there was a second person, but they don't seem interested in attempting to assist.
What would they look like?
It was I mean, you kind of just saw the silhouette, but it was a woman with long hair in billowing robes.
Oh, it's her! Of course. Of course. Okay. Yeah.
Um, what now, Corvus? The house is still on fire, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Smoke has now filled like the entry hall.
I think I don't know if I have anything that can really put out fire.
Do you have control
Spell-wise.
flames?
No.
I don't think you do either.
So I'll head up to, I presume,
Yeah.
my uncle and his wife and everybody else is at the same place.
Yeah, the
I
smoke
hope.
gets thicker up here. The door to the kids' room is hanging open. The door to your room is hanging open. The door to the parents' room is closed.
I'll knock at the door and I'll shout, "It's me. It's safe to come out."
Your uncle opens the door, but you see he has a sword in his hand, and he says, "How'd your father die?"
At war.
He nods. Sorry, I don't know how much. Is he dead?
I believe so, but he had some type of thing that made him. He's not here anymore, but I'm fairly sure he's dead.
His eyes are kind of like watering from the smoke. Can we get out of the house?
There's one more, but I think she left.
Are you certain?
Yes. Just walk behind me.
He goes into the room and recovers his kids and his wife, and with them kind of like hurtled behind him, he follows you down the steps. Down there, the air's a lot clearer, and
Yeah,
you head
I'll
out
quickly grab my stuff from my room.
Yeah, you head out onto the back lawn of the house because going through the front door would necessitate you walking through fire. And the first fireball, the one that's at the front of the building on fire, that probably could have been recovered from. Like you could have put the windows out because it's mostly stone. The top of the building, though, that second fireball, that condemned the house. The flames are already starting to stretch along like structural beams, and also you walk past like that disintegrated stone pillar that was like part of the construction of the rear of the house where you missed him, and you kind of sprawl out on the back lawn with your uncle, and your uncle holds his kids close, and you're just kind of catching
I'm
your
just
breath,
glad I
looking
didn't
around
decide to
for-
leave.
Yeah, you're pretty close to doing it. I wasn't going to stop you.
Yeah.
You continue to glance around to see if that woman returns, and you can hear your uncle say, "Well, Helen."
I'll go inside the house and I'll grab the. Can I still access the basement?
Yeah, the basement's actually accessible from outside, so it's actually relatively easy. It's a wine.
Yeah,
so
I'll go grab the sword
out of Warble Sword
and wrap it in like
DC
I don't know,
is
some curtain or something.
Yeah, I mean, there are once like after he talks to his wife, because you'll kind of overhear the conversation. Basically, he's telling her like, "Hey, we're moving to the Italian League."
Yeah.
He will attempt to recover items from inside the house, and at a certain point, a fire brigade
I'll
person
help
will
him.
arrive, and that person will charge him a fee. This is how This is how the fire department works in Mythosia. You pay for it, and the price goes up as you watch your house burn. So he ends up paying about 15 gold for them to assist. And the end result is a house that is the entire backside, like basically collapses, partially due to what you did, but also partially because that's where the flames just happen to spread the worst. So the house is unlivable, but large amounts of what was in the front of the house, including his office, all of his books, most of that's recoverable. He's even able to get like extra. One of the water carriers will be able to brave the smoke and go up into the kids' room and get most of their clothing as well. And it is, a night spent fighting flames and recovering, and then once the flames are finally put out, trying to see what is recoverable from the mess. On, maybe like 4 hours of sleep, your uncle goes and gets a cart for himself, and by the time that everything starts to finally calm down, your uncle's entire life is in the back of a cart. His kids are back there sleeping on some bedding. His wife is down with the kids in the back of the cart, and he kind of is just standing in front of his singed and burned house, and he looks over at you. We're going to head to Tarako and then get the first ship to Zuri. I already sent a courier out to let my boss know that I won't be heading into work.
Any alternatives to Joroco?
Nauseous, but it's further.
Okay. I'll give him the. I'll put the sword wrapped and stuff onto the back of his cart. Stow it so it's not overly obvious.
Yeah.
He
nods and says, I'm sure it'll sell in Hago for a pretty penny. Whatever is excess, I'll make sure to get to the right people. And,
make sure you save first and foremost.
I've also sent a courier to Mythos. We have some P.O. boxes there. I'll make sure that the courier will make sure their contents are emptied out. There is one last matter, though, that I think you should deal with, since I won't be here much longer. As I said in Nauseous, there's a war chest. Commit what I'm about to say to memory. In the Department of Coin in Nauseous, there's a bank account. It's stored under the name Boyar Zemarov Kleftik.
Zemarov Kleftik.
Go there, say that you're his nephew, and they may ask you for some sort of identification. If you have to, full rank as a judge. Within that savings account, there's around 30 million pence. At this point, since I'll be leaving the Empire, ask them if they can transfer the balance to a bank in the Delian League. They may say no, and may have to stay within the Department of Coin, in which case you should probably move it to an account under your own name, and let me know where it is located in the Department of Coin.
Okay.
He gives you a hug.
Oh yeah, I'll hug him back.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm glad I chose to stay here tonight.
He, kind of squeezes you tighter and says, your father would have been proud of you.
Thank you.
And he breaks it off. I'll stay in contact through letters. It'll be a couple of weeks delay. Is the time it takes to get to Zuri. But I'll let you know once I'm safe and sound. Now you should get to Nauseous. Bogdi knew about that account.
I'll nod.
And your uncle will kind of wipe at his eyes, trying to hold back tears, and he'll give you a final hug, and then he'll get up on the cart, and he will start rattling through the city.
Before you leave, and I'll give him my tobacco pipe, and I'll say, keep this on you. That way I can oh wait, no, it's the other way around. Actually, I'll ask him if he has anything off his, or like even a hair of his, and I'll say, oh, basically I was just asking him, do you have a hair, anything I can use so I can scry on you to make sure I'll take out my razor knife so I don't have to rip it out, and just cut off a piece of hair, like singular hair, put it safely into one of my pouches.
And he'll give you a final kind of tussle your hair a bit, and then he'll urge the oxes pulling the cart forward. And he's gone.
Yep.
So you return to Nauseous. There are 3 things we need to wrap up before the session is over. First, the auction for your 2 objects have concluded. The crystal harp and the crystal... What's the other instrument? Is it a flute?
Flute.
Flute, okay, yeah.
Yes.
The harp will sell for 700 gold.
Damn.
And the flute, especially because you can say that it was, once blown by an archfey, though, not many people believe that story.
No
but
proof.
You still have a story associated with it. That will sell for 500 gold pieces.
Okay. Are there any fees I have to subtract from that?
Nope, that's your profit. Next.
So that's 1,200.
Your grant is approved for creating your spell. Would you like to share what it's called for the viewers?
Yes. I'm creating a spell called Corvus's Blazing Salvo.
Yeah. There's still a lot of work, of course, the initial research, then the final research. There's a lot of work to get it done, but it'll be bankrolled by the Department of Magic. And the final thing is, and this technically chronologically would happen first, but when you get back to Nasius, there's one last thing to do for the Sons of the Republic. If Bogdy was the source of the information leak leading to this attack on Galerius' house, this money will be gone. This is not only what you got from the bank in Dolno, this is years and years of money. 30 million pence for the state of Mythosia is nothing, but for a rebellious organization, that's a huge amount of money. That's enough money to buy some relatively important people. That's 3,000 gold. That's nothing to sniff at. Sorry, that's 30,000 gold. So yeah, 30 million pence is quite a lot. So it's probably the first thing they would have taken if Bogdy broke. So you head to the Department of Coin in Nasius. What name do you give them?
The name was Boya Zamarov Kleftik.
Yeah,
I'm his nephew.
The clerk doesn't ask for any more information. He will take you to a vault. He will open it up. Inside, he will withdraw a metal box, and then another metal box, and then another metal box. 8 PO boxes, or little metal trays in total. And he will bring them over to a small side room. And inside, stacked in little coin purses of 50 gold each. There, you're not actually going to count it all, but there is 30 million pence still here.
Okay. 30 or 3?
30. 30 million
Okay,
pence.
30. Yeah. Yes, okay, that's... Jeez.
Yeah, that's more than any player has earned. Even that giant teleport scroll sale that's being organized to basically get teleportation circles introduced into the Department of Magic, which Rixion and Maximus are profiting from. Even that's only half this amount, and that's a very major sale. So yeah, it's a lot of money.
All right, they're selling teleport scroll.
Yeah, and the reason it's so valuable is because teleport scrolls are actually incredibly rare, and now they're adding a permanent one to the scroll repository in Nasius. So
that's actually huge, because that's exactly what
it is
what
huge.
spell
Yeah,
I
know
learn.
it directly benefits you, and it benefits them by a lot of money.
Yeah.
So what do you do with this massive sum of cash?
So he told me to send it to ask if I can send it to the Delian League.
He said, yeah, ask if you can, and then if you can't, put it in.
Yeah, so I'll ask if it's possible.
Yeah, you ask, so, you wave over the person who let you inside, just an employee of the Department of Coin, and they'll say, we could have it converted to gold bullion, or more accurately give you 30 million pence worth of gold bullion, but you'd have to deal with transportation arrangements on your own. We don't have credit agreements with Delian banks.
Should I put it in my own name? I'm not sure.
This is up to you. This is beyond what instructions he gave you.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, even if I did the transportation agreements, I don't know where exactly to and under what name he'll be there. So I think I'll just put it in under my own name for now.
Okay.
And then wait for further instructions.
Yeah, there's clearly something weird with this account, because, for example, if you walked up to a random bank and said, yeah, I'm the nephew of Zednius, and I'd like to take all of his money out, they would just not let you do that. There would be so many layers.
They'd ask you for identification.
Yeah, they'd ask you for verification. They'd probably just say no,
consent.
period, unless Zednius was there in person, because there is very little way to actually confirm you are who you say you are. But this guy lets you see it, and then secondly, he lets you transfer this entire sum of money under your name. So you don't know what's going on with this, whether this guy's a member of the Sons of Republic or you don't know. All you know is your uncle was in the Department of Coin, so you suspect there's some weird shit going on with him doing some stuff. All you know is that at the end of the day, by the time you leave the Department of Coin building, technically there is now 30 million pence in your name. You then, as your uncle instructed, write up a letter. It is addressed to the city of Zuri, and you include your uncle's name. You just hope it gets to the right person. And how do you code the information to let him know what you did? Or do you want to just send it to him to Rocco and hope you get it to him before he gets on a boat?
No, I feel like that's too risky.
Okay, so you send it to Zuri.
I'll word it. Let me just check real quick.
Sure.
Dear Uncle, I hope this letter finds you well, as I do not have your address yet. I wanted to update you on the liquidation of your estate. Unfortunately, there's no. It's not quite possible to directly send it to any Delian bank accounts, but if you could give me a location, I might be able to arrange some transport of your of some of the stuff you haven't been, or some of the things you haven't been able to take with you.
Alrighty.
It seems that we've managed to avoid cousin Cassius's words this time, and I hope you make it there safely. I'll be making sure to acquire a better line of communication soon. Signed, Corvus.
You post the letter and you send it through to the city of Zuri, over 1,000 miles away, and by actual journeying, several thousand, because you have to either go by ocean or through the desert, so it's ocean every time. Yeah. And there is more spell research to be done. You have not yet concluded your long rest. There's also some other things that, news items, not personally for you, but news items that happened during this long rest. But for now, we will end off the story of Corvus. There is the 15th of November. And so you have a little bit, about 2 weeks left in this rest, which should give you enough time to at least get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And is there any final small thing you wanted to do before we wrap up?
I just want to ask if, now that I have the money, it would be possible to learn the spells teleport and also sending.
Yeah. You make your way to your clerk friend in the Department of Magic. She will guide you down to the scroll repository. The one here in Nasius is not as impressive as the grand atrium within Mythos. It is more of a library. It has a couple scrolls in here, but it's not some grand repository of knowledge. It's very functional. And teleportation can be found. Technically, you need to wait 2 days, because that's when the sale finalizes on the teleportation scroll that Maximus and Rixion are selling, but because I'm going to forget next session, you can just do it now. You said you wanted sending?
Sending,
That would definitely be here.
That's what,
yeah. And what was the final one?
That's what I was mentioning. No, just teleportation and sending.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And those two can be found. Yeah. What's the arcane ink cost of those?
Teleport would be 350 gold, and sending would be 150 gold.
Okay, you burn through.
So a total of
$500,000 on arcane.
Or 500 even. Which now that I sold the harp and the thing, so yeah, I have that.
Alrighty.
I'll subtract from my sheet and add the spells. Big.
And as you study the various spells and you prepare to dive deep into the history of evocation, to work on Corvus's.
Wait, sending's a vocation. I just realized.
Oh,
That means it's half
perfect.
cost.
Perfect. So save
Well,
yourself 75 gold. We take those. Alrighty.
Hog.
Well, I think that's all we got. So I will see you for the next main session, whenever that is. We'll see. And that's all I got. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.